Let us respect and praise our Tamil language as well as culture. I invite my colleagues, Ms. Mona Devi and Sandhya, to the dais.
நீராறும் கடலொடுத்த நிலமடந்தை கிளிலொழுகும் சீராறும் வதனமென திகழ்பரத கண்டமிதில் தெக்கணமும் அதிசிறந்த திராவிடனல் திருநாடும் தக்க சிறு பிறை நுதலும் தரித்தனரும் திலகமுமே அத்திலக வாசனை போல் அனைத்துலகும் இன்பமுற எத்திசையும் புகழ் மணக்க இருந்த பெரும் தமிழனங்கே தமிழனங்கே உன் சீரிழமை திறம் வியந்து செயல் மறந்து வாழ்த்துதுமே வாழ்த்துதுமே வாழ்த்துதுமே.
Thank you, Mona and Sandhya. Now I invite Mr. Muhammad Ali, MD, South Indian Shelters and President to CREDAI for a welcome address. So before that, we will just give an intro note because you may not be knowing all the things, everybody may not be knowing, so that we will just play a video and we are happy to introduce him to this function. Yeah, please.
Mr. Muhammad Ali, Managing Director of South India Shelters Private Limited, exemplifies leadership, sagacity and social responsibility, and alumnus of BITS Pilani. He founded SIS in 2002, expanding into residential, commercial and industrial projects. His ethos of sourcing expertise, commitment to ethical practices and focus on social impact have earned him numerous accolades, including the Real Leaders Award at the Indian Reality Awards 2013 and numerous international recognition for his projects. Mr. Ali's contributions to the real estate industry are significant, holding various positions in CREDAI, culminating in his presidency from 2024 to 2026.
Yeah, sir, please come to the dais. You are welcome at that. Yeah. Please accept your. Yeah. Thank you.
Dr. Moses, CEO HECS, Advocate Siddhant Kohli, Supreme Court Counsel, all other dignitaries here, dear friends, and whoever is joining through the web. So I guess some are voting through the web. Very good morning to you all and welcome you all to this wonderful seminar. At the outset, CREDAI is an organization where all the developers, most of the developers, permanent developers are members of this organization. It's a national, there is a national body called CREDAI National, and then we have chapters across states and cities. There are about 280 chapters and with 13,000 developers across India. And I represent CREDAI Chennai, where we have around 200 developers. All the top developers of CREDAI who are doing real estate are members of our organization. Basically, we are into real estate, promoting residential properties, industrial properties, and commercial properties, as you all know. In Tamil, they say, like, Kalyanam Pannipar, Veeta Kattipar, right? Sir, for your understanding, for Tamil, Kalyanam Kattipar means like, do a marriage or construct a house, then you will know what it is, how difficult it is. Now here, to do one house, the Tamil old saying is like, Veeta Kattipar, how difficult it is, but we do thousands of apartments, houses for different people. That means how difficult it is. How many people we have to coordinate, how many departments we have to coordinate, how many dots we have to connect, to make it possible, when we deliver the product. Now those times, like, okay, we do it just like that, we construct, we sell and things like that. But now there are a lot of compliances, government compliances are there, we have to follow and we have to be online, which is very, very good for the nation, good for the industry. But while doing this, there are a lot of complications. That is why we are here for one particular vertical. So when I say it's so difficult to construct one house, how difficult it will be to construct not thousands of houses, right? But let me tell you, it is not difficult for us. We will never get tired of doing how many ever houses, we can do it. We have the expertise, we have the resources, we have all kind of supports, we can do it. But where we get stuck is the uncertainties. We get tired of uncertainties, not due to hard work or doing this kind of houses, projects. So we are not clear in most of the departments. We are not clear what the government says, what the policy says, because so much of interpretation, so much of confusions are there. And one such vertical is our environmental clearance. And normally, now for any policies, for any department, okay, we go there and we talk to them, we get things resolved. But this is one particular avenue where we cannot find some solutions. In the environmental department, I do not know. So this seminar is going to be an eye-opener, I hope, because our experts are here. So when we share our knowledge, probably we will get things. We can understand in a better way, and we will know how to go about it, how to solve things. For example, there are a lot of projects which are stuck due to the downturn, which happened around 5, 6, 7 years back. Now things are going good, market is good now. Now when people wanted to revive the projects, or they want to give it to another developer to revive it, in fact, I have also taken up a project like that. The problem is, one such problem I want to tell you, there is a property where they plan for 3 blocks. 2 blocks is constructed and 1 block is kept for future. Now that was the 2 blocks. When we apply to environmental clearance, okay, they get the clearance. Then subsequently the department gives the clearance, and there will be some changes. Like for example, a floor extra or something like that. Now what has happened? Those time they could have gone for amendments and things like that, but we were not aware because 10 years back this much awareness was not there. So they developer kept on doing it. Now when we go, it is taken it as a violation, and for violation I guess there is no solution now. So that is one thing, sir, you can be able to, if you give some kind of a direction, it will be helpful for us. So these kind of uncertainties and problems, what we are facing, and timelines, till when, okay, one more problem I can tell you. One particular project where they have taken the environmental clearance, they have started the work, now in between they have stopped. Now 8 years has gone. Now one view they say is, because the work is started, they can continue it. If the work is not started one day, it gets lapsed. So again, there is no different views on that. So there also we need some clarity. And I hope this seminar will throw light and on all these uncertainties. So if uncertainties are there, there is so much work we have to do. They say out of GDP, like 0.3 trillion is our share, and in 20 years, our share will be like 1.3 trillion. So that means so much of potential is there, so much of work we have to do. So and we have to comply with all these policies and all these with all the departments. We'll definitely do everything, because we also want to be like a developed nation, and it's going to be a faster development. So we should have the knowledge of all these things, so that we can also take the nation to a better level. That is the main idea of our organization. Also, we come together, we discuss these kind of issues and problems in different fields, not only environmental, with all these fields. How many departments we have to go and how many policies, rules we have to follow. So this is what we are doing it, and I wish you all the best. I wish all the success for HEC, because you have taken so much of effort, sir. So this will become a good eye-opener for the industry. Thank you very much. I welcome you once again. Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate and thank Mr. Mohammad Ali for his wonderful speech. And he's been our HECS a long-term well-wisher and a very law-abiding and a very good person by nature. Their group is doing pretty good. And I really, his inaugural talk has opened all the possible gaps. Now we have the law, we have the implementation, and we have gaps. And this is definitely going to be eye-opener. And I sincerely wish all of us do a good job and build a great nation. And as you rightly said, 20 years down the line, real estate business should attain 1.2 million.
Billion. 1.2 trillion.
1.2 trillion for our great country. With this I conclude. Thank you once again, sir.
Out of 4 trillion of GDP, now we are 0.3 trillion.
Same
so
ratio.
After 20 years, when we go for 27 trillion, our share should be like 1.3 trillion. That means out of in 70 years, whatever we have achieved as 0.3 trillion this year, we'll be climbing up and up, and the 20th year will be like 1.2 trillion. That means so many times in 20 years. So every year by year, now we will grow so high.
That's a wonderful information, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thanks for inaugurating this. Thank you.
Thank you, Mohammad Ali sir, for your wonderful welcome speech, as well as explaining, actually, as Moses sir said, the gaps of current situation, especially in construction projects, and of course the bottlenecks wherever we feel. Anyway, we will just discuss, we will go ahead with the same topic at the end of today, and of course we will discuss all the things in detail. And now I invite Moses sir for an inaugural speech, and before that, I know that all of you, 99% of you, not maybe 100% know that persons know him, but still we will have a quick introduction to it, sir.
Mr. J.R. Moses is the CEO and Managing Director of Hubert EnviroCare Systems, HECS, one of India's leading environmental management companies. With over 2 decades of rich experience in the field, Dr. Moses began his journey in the industry by working with renowned organizations such as SPIC, CPCL, DuPont India, and Hyundai Heavy Industries. In 1997, driven by the stark difference he observed between global and Indian environmental standards during his participation in the US government's prestigious International Visitors Program on Sustainable Development, he founded HECS to bridge the critical gap. A chemical engineering graduate from RGC Durgapur, Dr. Moses combined technical acumen with visionary leadership to lay the foundation for a company focused on sustainable and responsible environmental solutions. Under his leadership, HECS has grown into a comprehensive environmental solutions provider offering services in environmental consultancy, turnkey projects, laboratory analysis, and operations and maintenance. The company has earned industry-wide recognition for its innovation and commitment to environmental stewardship, including being awarded the Best Water Company in the Make in India category 2023. Dr. Moses continues to be a key influencer in shaping India's environmental infrastructure through his dedication, expertise, and forward-looking vision.
Yes, sir. Please.
I think let us have some lighter moments. This audio which Mr. Shyam was playing, I thought it is AI made. I asked him yesterday night, என்னப்பா AI வச்சு பண்ணியான்னு. இல்லை சார் என் ஒய்ஃபு பாருங்க, அவரோட ஒய்ஃப் கொச்சியிலிருந்து, she has made. You know, such a great guy, he respects his wife for everything. Somebody of us, his wife has done the whole thing and sent here. What a great devotion, and she's a very big lawyer. And Shyam happens to be one of our key senior personnel. With this thing, I think I just want everyone to be very relaxed, and we are going to have a good take-off today. It's not a very mundane or anything. Please stop us wherever you want us to, and we would love to, at the end of the day, by lunch when we wind up, we would love to have as Mr. Ali rightly said, there are a lot of gaps, and we will start closing the gaps, both on technical and analytical and engineering, and also on the legal fronts. This is the takeaway of this seminar. Now, I just want to say a few lines about my company. And of course, we are almost 28 years old, and probably we are one of the oldest environmental management company in this great country. And we are the only company in this country to have all the facets of environmental management. Like, we have a wonderful MOF approved laboratory, Ministry Lab in Chennai and Mangalore. And also we have a very large consulting team. Some of my consulting people are here. We have almost 60 PhDs and MTechs and postgraduates and well-experienced people who are involved in the consulting team. Of course, today's the focus is mainly on this. And we have a lovely EPC team. You know, some little slow, please. And we have a lovely EPC team and working all over India. We build plants in Rajasthan, in Northeast, and all parts of the great country. And also we operate and maintain. You know, as most of you observed, putting a plant is very easy. Putting a water plant or sewage plant is the most easiest. You know, it's a copybook. Mr. Kurian, Professor Kurian is here today. One of the, I think I will say one of the largest designer in the country. But you know, a guy will do the plant well, design well, engineer it well, and commission it well, but it has to be operated. You know, the biggest challenge for all our environmental facilities, especially, let me talk specific to the construction business. You know, somebody puts the plant, hands over to society, and then they go off. Now, how do you ensure that this plant works well? You know, imagine having a volcano Some of the apartments I seen have been below the apartments, in the basement. You are having a volcano underneath. And I personally have very vast experience in sewage treatment, right from the late 80s. Sewage is the most dangerous component in sewage. If you see the statistical of accidents, sewage related accidents are more. Now, unfortunately or fortunately, the construction and the developers are having the most critical sewage treatment plant. To bridge this gap, we have started manufacturing GRP, that is, glass reinforced plastics. We have a factory at Sri Parambudur for a 2.5 acre site, wherein we are manufacturing about 40 STPs per month. This is a totally packaged plant. The whole thing is closed. The sewage comes in here, goes out here, and meets the standards. And we started in a very, very big way. And I'm very happy to say we are exporting to Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and some other Middle East. And we are also started Sri Lanka operations, and we are doing a lot of works in Sri Lanka. And there is very big export potential. Now, fully understanding this, now we are trying to get into Europe. Most likely we are going to sign up with a company in Portugal, and we are going to buy that company, and we are going to get into European Union for selling out this plant. Now, our R&D, our innovation didn't stop with STP. We have now started making effluent treatment plants also in the same profile. And what happens there, there are at least some typical ones like car wash, automobile effluent, hospital effluent, and laundry effluent, and small pharma. And we are in tandem with IIT, Hyderabad, and so many other people to make these things work. Now, we are simply solving, what was construed as a very complicated one. And this is picking up in a very big way. And we are also, BI Marketing, which is our own sister company. They are one of the India's largest water supply management. Firefighting system we do. Most of the IT parks in Chennai and Bangalore, we have done the firefighting, and they're all doing pretty good. And the last and most important, I'd like to say, we are turned over, God's grace, 250 crore last year. And it's an amazing thing, and 250 crore for a small company to accomplish. And we are also going ahead with an IPO very soon. And also, we are trying to do more things on a global perspective. Now, today, I take this opportunity once again to thank every one of you who are here. Maybe some, I think I know most of you, or some people we may not be knowing. Let us be very, clear, and let us not be too rigid, and we can have an open discussion today. So, end of the day, all of us have a good takeoff. With this, I close, and thank you everybody for coming, and I thank Mr. Ali for his lovely introductory talk. Thank you once again.
Thank you, sir, for your kind words and a wonderful inaugural speech. Now I invite Dr. Dwaraganath through VC. He is kind enough to attend this seminar and deliver his keynote on legal framework of environmental clearances and its requirements. That is the main agenda of this seminar. So, sir will be delivering that keynote through VC. And of course, I hope he has already joined. Yeah. Sir, good morning, sir. I hope he can hear me. And welcome to this seminar.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Yeah. Sir, I hope you were there in this meeting from the beginning, I think, sir.
Good morning.
Yeah. Sir, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Hope the audience can hear me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible, sir. Yes, sir. So before your keynote, we will just play an introduction because he is the chairman to SIA Puducherry and that is Pondicherry,
yes,
SIA
please.
Pondicherry, and much more actually. So in order to get the garima of his profile, we will just play one intro, sir. Sir, Ajit, please.
Dr. Dwaraganath is a seasoned environmental expert and administrator, currently serving as the Chairman of the State Environment Impact Assessment Authority, SIA, Government of Puducherry. With over 30 years of experience in R&D institutions and government departments across Delhi and Puducherry, he has made significant contributions to environmental governance and scientific research. He has previously served as the Director, Department of Science, Technology and Environment and Member Secretary of the Puducherry Pollution Control Committee. A respected academic as well, Dr. Nath is a visiting professor at 4 reputed universities and colleges. His national contributions include serving twice as an expert member in the R&D Committee of the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Government of India. He has successfully led over 15 major projects funded by the World Bank and various central ministries and has represented India in several international training programs. Dr. Dwarika Nath is a seasoned environment.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Go to the, please.
Hope I am audible.
Yeah, yes, sir, you are.
Good morning. At the outset, I would like to thank CEO of HECS, Mr. Moses, and also his team, Mr. Dr. Rajkumar and his team, and for giving me the opportunity and sharing our experience over the years with the government of Delhi as well as government of Puducherry. Whatever we have come across, I would like to share. And thank you very much for the opportunity given to me. I am quite sure it will be interactive and also will try to be more meaningful as much as possible. Can we go to this presentation, please? The last one, yes. Okay. In the inaugural speech, Mr. Mohammed Ali of CREDAI, Tamil Nadu or South India chapter, has flagged certain issues. These are relevant. I am not discarding it, but these need to be dealt at the individual project level. How EIA is project specific. The problems are also project specific, and you cannot look for a tailor-made solutions for all the problems, because each problem will be having its own dimensions and it will be different from the other one. So you need to deal it by case basis only. Pan project approach may not work here. Can we go to the next slide, please? Here, of course, I thought I will be the person who will be starting my presentation with Tamil, but Mr. Mohammed Ali also started with Tamil. I appreciate that. I generally start with Thirukural, the one of the oldest in the world. They say, "Enni thuniga karmam thuninda pin ennuvam enbadu ilukku." CREDAI, or for that matter any project, before implementation, it needs a lot of thinking and planning that goes ahead. The same is required as an environment field and pollution control also. But unfortunately, environment legislations are the nascent legislations, are the youngest legislations in India. So that being the case, we are getting the least priority. But if we infuse the environmental planning also right from the beginning of planning of the project, things will be much better approached and it will be very easy for the project proponents for compliance. And secondly, the approach of environment and the pollution control principles will yield not only the compliance benefit, but also the conservation and also economic consideration. That is why I have told the second one, Ore Kallil Irandu Mangai. With one effort, we can achieve multiple benefits. Next. environmental impact assessment is a part and parcel of any project, and you remember this will be the one of the very few which you need to get even before start of the project. For many other things you can have, because even site selection EIA is there. If 3 or 4 sites are to be considered, you cannot have environmental impact assessment like that and then you can start the project. Even for many of the projects, site selection EIA is a prerequisite, and unless otherwise the specific environmental clearance is given, you cannot even start the project. And as I told, since it is a nascent legislation, EIA can evolve not only as a regulatory tool, but also to achieve the SDG or conservation principle of the company or the group as a whole. This is slowly evolving, because if you closely see the environmental clearance principles or the points, many of the points are closely interlinked with the SDG goals of India. Next. Are we hitting the target but missing the objective? This is a IBM or McKinsey based survey which has told companies do end up spending lesser on innovations but more on reporting. 43% they spend more on SDG compliance reporting rather than on SDG innovation. This is very unfortunate, but this is a little bit older study, but with the years to come and the kind of development that the India and globally we are seeing the development, this kind of global innovation on sustainability will improve. I am very positive about that. Next. Next, please. Looking back, I am just giving, always talking about positives will not end up in a course correction. Here, I wanted to give the audience a dose of Controller and Auditor General of India's report on environmental clearance or EIA performance across the nation. This is not restricted to any particular state. So, the audit was conducted with special experts. So, this is called not only environment but performance audit of the legislation in a whole. More than 216 projects were considered between the year 2011 and 15. 352 environmental clearances were considered, and from the year 2008 to 2012. This, whatever the finding is based on the detailed analysis and study of these environmental clearances issued by MOEF. Next. The shortages were observed not only in the general conditions but also in the specific conditions. The shortages, you think of any sector, in every sector shortcomings were there. For example, non-compliance with reference to environmental management plan commitments. Environmental management plan were prepared by the project proponent through the consultant, and the commitment made under the EMP itself is not adhered to, and the maintenance of sufficient green belt is not adhered to, and the contribution towards enterprises' social responsibility is not adhered to, and the change in scope of project without the approval. This is unfortunate. When you know very well, that's what environmental clearance or pollution control clearances are just treated as papers. For the audience, with my due experience, I wish to submit these clearances are not mere papers with conditions. You have to read, understand and implement each and every condition during implementation of your project. So the terms of reference is altered without approval of the ministry, and the commencement of construction and operation before environmental clearance is issued. So these are under the general conditions. Next. These are for the specific conditions. Emergency preparedness plan and implementation is lacking, and the allocation of fund for action plan for conservation of flora and fauna, that was not met, and the flora and fauna action plan conservation is not in done consultation with the state forest department, and non-installation of ETP and STP in the project premises, non-implementation of occupational health surveillance program during the entire implementation of the project. And in thermal power station, the fly ash and the bottom ash management is far from satisfactory. Next. In spite of the conditions in the EC, the project proponent showed poor environmental monitoring programs. They have to see what kind of emissions or water pollution or waste management that they do. Even that monitoring during the construction and operation phase, that monitoring itself is lacking, and the project proponents were not uploading half-yearly compliance report, which is a part and parcel of the environmental clearance conditions. Next. Here I am giving statistics, I am not going into the figures. There are figures in each and every sector, which under the period of study, those 300 odd projects done by Controller and Auditor General of India, they were not meeting these specific sector compliances. 25% EIA did not comply with the TOR. This is for the consultants to look into and also for the project proponents to look into. 23% did not comply with the generic report structure of EIA. These two are very unfortunate, and the cumulative impact study was lacking. Next. 13 out of the 13 EMP activities were lacking in 26%. Entrepreneurial social responsibility was lacking in 20%. Development of green belt was lacking in 47%, and time-bound action plan for EMP was not done in 64% of the cases. Next. And this is for general condition, and groundwater authority without that permission was not taken, and the tree cutting permission was not taken, and annual audited report was not submitted to the pollution control boards, and there are 7% of cases started even before the environmental clearance was accorded. Next. Like this, I have given the gist of the CAG report, which link I have shared. Next. Next. So now I have told the looking back into the mirror. I am not here to point out the negative things. I am only told that we should introspect ourselves while implementing the project, and also the post-project monitoring, what are all the lacunas that we have come across by this pointed out by the Controller and Auditor General of Report in India. So I am now trying to say SDG goals or environmental conditions are not two different things. Don't look that in isolation. If we integrate both, we will achieve a lot. This I have specifically prepared for today's program because I saw CREDAI is there, and he gave an opening and a keynote speaker. So I have tried to give my rest of the slides within the idea of my second Tamil phrase, Ure Kallil Irandu Mangai. If we integrate the environmental condition along with the SDG goals that is committed for the company and the CREDAI as a whole, we will achieve a lot in the years to come. So EIA is not a regulatory tool alone, but it can be integrated towards achieving the sustainable development goal of any organization. Next. Next, please. So these are the three things which are low-hanging fruits of CREDAI. Next, before, one slide before. Earlier slide. No, yes. Energy efficiency, which is akin to SDG 7 and 13, sustainable materials use, which is akin to SDG 9 and 12, and water conservation, which is akin to SDG 6 and 11. If these three are very low hanging and easily implementable goals as per the SDG booklet released by CREDAI themselves, I have tried to include those points only which are within their syllabus of CREDAI, not going anywhere else in my environmental encyclopedia, but within the CREDAI booklet itself, what they have done, I have tried to integrate that. Next. These are the SDGs that are relevant for any industry, especially the construction industry or any manufacturing industry. These are the points of SDG or sub-points of SDG which are very relevant and which are all covered in the environmental conditions of your EAA. So what we need to do, the boy is somewhere and the girl is somewhere, we should try to meet them and then make them to get married. So this is in the lighter vein of what Mr. Moses started. I am trying to take it forward. So next one. So what while aligning SDG goals with the EAA principles or environmental conditions, there are number of benefits that we can achieve. We can have a better, broader stakeholder consultation and better risk identification and mitigation, and improved monitoring and accountability will be there, and it will support climate commitment and the ESG goals, and also will promote green investment opportunity. Let us not forget, any problem provides us an opportunity also. Like Dr. Moses told that he is now entering into the nascent arena of providing a compact STP and ETP solutions in the smaller countries in South Asia as well as in Europe. Because there everybody, the problem is, labor problem is there, the manpower problem is there in Europe especially. So for them, plug in and plug out kind of solution will really work better. For that, each problem provides us an opportunity also. So let us not miss the point of opportunity. Next. This is 8 rupee magic I have taken from the sustainability booklet of CREDAI only. 8 rupees is actually, even before this CREDAI has come, I have worked in Delhi government, where our Delhi government buildings we started constructing as green buildings. In that, we have done a cabinet decision giving various activities that are envisaged in the green building, and we got a cabinet approval of 7 to 10% more funding for the green building. The same principle they have taken, 8 rupees per square feet is taken as an additional cost in any construction project. You will get a lot of payback by way of many savings and conservation. What 8 rupee can give, it can save electricity, it can emit lesser carbon dioxide, and it can end up in saving lesser operation expenditure. Next. How you can do it, I am not going into the detail of various components, how by increasing the 8 rupees additional cost per square feet, what are all the additional things that you can do, that eco-friendly painting with reflective thing you can do, optimize the envelope glazing of your glasses can be done, optimize the envelope of your reflective paints can be done, and low energy STP, meaning thereby without energy your treatment plants can be operated, and all your biodegradable or green waste can be converted to the biogas and manure. Next. And in all these things I have given the cost, that is that can be taken back or saved by way of doing in-house things and build for the planet. This is a material, eco-friendly material we can use, and we can reduce the carbon emissions as well as the operational expenditure savings. Next. This is again materials continued, optimized concrete mixed, optimized steel design and use secondary steel, low environment non-structural cement and also alternative wall blocks. These are all as a part of GRIHA ratings. Earlier Terry and also Ministry of Urban Development and Housing, they have developed a rating called GRIHA ratings, and these are all part and parcel of GRIHA ratings which CREDAI has adopted, and side by side they have worked out the cost savings also in this booklet. Next. Water conservation, treatment and reuse wherever possible for non-potable purposes. That can also save you a lot of money, and also it can conserve environment and it can reduce carbon emissions also. Next. These are the fixtures. Again, Ministry of Urban Development and Housing have notified certain operational standards for the fixtures that are to be fixed in the urban housing and rural housing. So these fixtures can be low tap and low shower, these kind of things, construction of recycled water and STP non-potable use, rainwater harvesting and smart water metering. These are all also can be easily achieved right from the construction phase itself, and it will reduce the carbon emissions as well as which will result in saving of operational expenditures. Next. This is the link for CREDAI's sustainability report. Since I have taken the major portion, I am not giving the credit to GRIHA or Terry GRIHA ratings. I am giving to CREDAI only because they are part and parcel of today's program. Next. What are the major things that as an environmental impact assessment authority or as a pollution control board we are looking at? Please comply to the implementation of these notifications. Nothing is new, everything is old only, except construction and demolition waste and the modified plastic rules and also modified electronic waste management and rules with its latest amendment. All others are known to all project proponents and also the consultants. One is CRZ notification. Since CREDAI is here, I wish to state, I worked in the Pondicherry government for 6 years as Member Secretary Pollution Control Board as well as Member Secretary Coastal Regulatory Authority. Many projects in the CRZ zone are started without taking either CRZ clearance or environmental clearance. I really don't know the status about Tamil Nadu and the various coastal districts in Tamil Nadu, how they are coming across. But adjoining districts of Tamil Nadu, Viluppuram and Kadalur, I know, there also the rules of CRZ and EC are floated and buildings are constructed in the CRZ zone without proper CRZ clearance. Again, I am not here to pinpoint negativity, but I am just trying to give you the status report of based out of my experience, and also utilization of fly ash. EIA notification with EC clearance and Water Act, Air Act, these two are the major oldest Act 1974 and 1981 and the Environmental Protection Act 1986 and with all its rules, 10 or 12 rules that are notified under the EIA. And also for CREDAI is another specific thing why I am mentioning is construction and demolition waste. The C&D waste, a viable plant of C&D waste utilization can be put up, and CREDAI and its members, I request they should make use of these C&D waste utilized products for the pavement and also for landfilling and for a number of other issues. They have to it needs to come in your board meeting, and the members should take oath that they will utilize some percentage according to C&D waste rules in their construction. I am quite sure you might be having something like this on board, but if you don't have, please do incorporate this in your policy. And also Griha ratings as far as construction is concerned, and CAA lead ratings. So these are the things that need to be kept in mind by the CREDAI and also the major project developers of housing or infrastructure project proponents. Next. Conclusion. We can also achieve and contribute to the nation's goal of achieving net zero by 2070. But I am quite sure with all the stakeholders and their valued commitments, we can try to achieve these things much before 2070. And I wish this seminar and the awareness program will pave a step towards achieving our carbon net neutrality much before 2070. Next. And last but not least, this by adhering to carbon neutrality in the competitive environment, all the project proponent or CREDAI developers will have a cutting edge also. And it will give you a green branding and opportunity so that you can market your products much better, housing much better. And the last but not the least, always be a mad person. I am a mad person. Meaning thereby in literal sense also, or otherwise in a real sense, if I am speaking for 20 minutes or 30 minutes given by HECS and CREDAI for me, I should make a difference. That's what I mean as a mad. Make a difference. And thank you very much all of you. And if there are some questions, I am happy to answer if I can, or otherwise they can be in touch with me. I'll be helpful in giving their clearance and clarification both at the state level and also if they require at the central level also. Thank you very much, Mr. Dr. Moses and his team, and also thank you, Mr. Mohammed Ali, for your valuable insight of keynote address also. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Sir, you made the difference. Actually, what happened that maybe 20 or 30 minutes you delivered the address. It was excellent, and it was whatever the keynote, how it should be like that. Sir, you told all the EIA should be project specific, and you have proven, sir, how it should be project specific by example, taking example of CREDAI and its activities. Like this, thank you very much for, sir, for your insightful keynote and your clarity on policy and legal nuances add immense value to this seminar, sir. Sir, one more thing, we are very much thankful for this one, for all the statistics you have displayed here, because this is a real-time statistics for all the all the what is called non-compliances as well as the violations. That is the main prime, that is called aim of this seminar, sir, the content of this seminar. And sir, and you also towards the end you have just proven that how the issues can be converted into opportunity in a very positive way. Dear audience, you may ask any question to this knowledgeable person. Please come forward and we will deliver a mic so that you will get a clarity on this one. Yes, Muhammad Ali, sir. Yeah.
Good morning, sir. Muhammad Ali here again. Within an hour of the start of this seminar, you have made the seminar as a winner, sir, because you have given so much knowledge, so much input. It's wonderful that now you have made this as a winner. And from CREDAI, I'm very thankful to you that you have taken our views also. And regarding the construction waste management, we are in touch with Chennai Corporation. So they have given us some guidelines, and also they have imposed a lot of rules and regulations, and heavy fines will be imposed if you don't manage it properly. So we are also in touch with corporation to do the needful. And similarly, with the United Nations Environmental Protection, we have continuous meetings where we have to implement the points, whatever you said, like the roofing tiles, weathering course tiles and external painting. And we have also made all the calculation, like how much it is going to cost and how much is going to save. So thank you very much for reiterating it and bringing it to this seminar. Thank you very much, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Mr. Mohammed Ali. Just not and the last Environmental Impact Assessment Authority or Pollution Control Board never like to stop a project or stall a project or punish anybody. See, it is something we call as ecological boomerang. Boomerang is an instrument or a weapon. You throw at your enemy, it does the job and comes back to you. Ecologically, any damage that we do to our air, water, soil, or to our plants and animals, everything comes back to you through food chain and food web. So if not for environmental clearance sake, we should try to adhere to the principles and conditions of environmental conditions and also pollution control board clearance conditions to save ourselves and also to save our future generation. We have standing examples of Bhopal and also Kasargod, Chernobyl and also Fukushima. We can go on giving lot of case studies of how the environment is polluted and the food chain and food web is affected. So ultimately it is you and me, we are going to be affected. So let us all understand this in perspective and then try to adhere to the EC conditions and also pollution control board conditions. Thank you very much and I wish HECS and CREDAI seminar a great success. Thank you.
Thank you once again, sir. Dr. Puttaswamy is in a meeting with Minister, so he may be joining later. And next, I cordially invite Dr. Bala Subramaniam, Professor of Chemical Engineering, Anna University, and member of State Disaster Management Committee for the presentation. Sir, please, audience, please, there is a small change in this schedule, and before that, we will just introduce Sir to all. I will keep it.
Yeah, it's okay.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. People can. I can able to reach everybody. Yeah. So.
Yeah. So before that, there is a small intro.
Oh.
Audio.
That's fine. Very good morning. Thank you, Dr. Moses and Dr. Rajkumar, Mohammed Ali sir, and members from Environment Board. So, I'm a hard man out of this group. Okay, thank you for displaying my background. I'm basically a chemical engineer by profession and turned to be electrochemical engineer when I was at CREDAI. And I became our colleague, Dr. Corinne Joseph, my senior. And then I moved to Anna University as a professor. And you may be wondering why I'm here. So I do sometimes do consultancy, if not full time. Here and there we do consultancy, and I'm a certified safety office professional. We work on falsity, event analysis, safety auditing. So this is my profession in addition to my academic activities. So in fact, that's why I know Dr. Moses when we had some issue on how to classify the category of industry when a specific industry, then he called me. So we had a discussion and we finally had to make a report to the authorities that this is what actually the process and the classification should go this way. So that's where the role of academician getting into the industry, along with the industry for getting environmental clearance, where the academician play a role. Like for example, my senior credentials, he is known in solid waste management. We have many stalwarts in our campus, starting from CRS notification. There are nodal centers. We have a IRS center, building technology, and environmental science, where our faculty members are working towards industry, helping the industry to get environmental clearance. So that's why we are directly connected with the industry. And today, I am asked to talk about the industrial perspective of environmental clearance. Something hard for me to address from an industrial side. Let me try what we can do and what I can do it. Can I have my PPTs? Okay. So actually, as I said, I'm a chemical engineer. We work on wastewater treatment, membrane bioreactor, and we develop a hybrid membrane bioreactor. Taking the conventional membrane bioreactor, we introduce hybridizing the introducing another treatment like electrochemical process in the existing membrane bioreactor, where the fouling can be reduced by 40%. And we work on our technologies, and I would say that we are in the technology level 5 or 6. So I'm in the process of coordinating few industries where possibly the technology can be taken for field trials. Okay. And the other area where we work specifically on battery development, we work on sodium sulfur, lithium sulfur, and other components like electrolyte and separator. So where normally we work, start with the technology readiness level 3, and we go up to 5 with the funding, whatever we can get it from funding agency. And we try to collaborate with the industry for possibly extending the tier level up to 7. Then we wait for companies to take this one for commercialization. So this is all our research work is going this. So we have a good amount of infrastructure for our activity to support our activities, and reasonably we have projects from various funding agencies, including Minister of Environment, Forest, DST, AICT. So all the funding agencies we get. So that's how the academician get into industrial activity. Okay, so today, in fact, we have we have tied up with a few industries for managing the batteries. Today, as on date, we do not have any indigenous battery on the road. So we are working on the sodium sulfur, and the results are very encouraging. So we have MOU with the one company from Salem. They are lead supplier of lead-acid batteries, and now they put up plan for assembling these lithium batteries. They just bring the cell and assemble the battery and give it according to the customer demand. Now I said that we have developed, and now we are in the process where our battery needs to be tested. So we have some MOU with them. Positively, hopefully that we can able to take it to the market. So now today the perspective from industrial point, as Dwarkanath and Mohammed said clearly, what is like. So we have the complete infrastructure and guidelines. It's not that it's difficult. Only thing is how we put it across the board. So I do I'm a member. I was a member in the load assessment committee where most of our expansion projects comes for assessing this one and all. So that's where we have a good interaction with the industries. From the expectation of TNPCB, for the matter of CPCB, is that they look for a good documentation. A documentation needs a good team with interdisciplinary expertise. I'm talking about, so that your documentation, that is the report, is clear enough to make the authorities to understand. We'll discuss one or two examples at the end. So I'll just move on to the next. So this I read. So clearance is sometimes we look at this way that, oh, this is difficult to get the clearance. But from my point of view, clearance is not a big task. As long as we have a good report, it's a matter of time to get it. And we have reached the level where you don't even go out of your office, just feed everything online and wait for your time that comes it. But the only thing is it needs some homework with the committed interdisciplinary expertise. So this is only a mandatory. It's not a mandatory. It's our duty to get it. Leave that as a mandatory. Mandatory is the statutory for it. It's our duty to get it so that we make sure that whatever we do, it's not harming the environment. That's what it's all about. We talk about the environmental clearance. The statutory is only to monitor, to give you the permission. But the responsibility of proponent is that we do all activities, doesn't matter what type of industry we work, maybe construction industry or chemical industry, what we take from the environment and what we are giving to the environment. If you are very clear this balance, you are very clear and your easy will be on your desk. How we are making it, that is where we need to work. And you need, as I said, interdisciplinary, make sure to collaborate with academics, expertise in the field so that they will help you out to prepare or to make the process such a way that it is, to certain extent, it minimizes the impact on the environment. So we work at the end to ensure that minimum impact is reflected. Can you move on to the next slide? Okay. So this are all, it's not new for people from industries, all we have category wise and what we do and so on. Okay. In fact, go to the next slide. We have, this is the procedure we follow for all type of industries. Okay. Where sometimes I sit there, it's a regulatory board along with them to assess what we have done. So when we focus on preparation of documentation, so many times it comes out the half-cooked food. I'm not criticizing, but there's a fact, when we read the report, I quote a few examples at the end, where there is a big flaw in the report. It's not that they don't have data, but the only thing is how it is presented that matters a lot. And so obviously it comes back, so it takes time. So what we are doing is look at this when we plan. That's what the organization said. If you have a plan and perfectly make this one and take the help of the interdisciplinary support and prepare wherever and whenever there is suggestion and implement it so that when it goes for the review, all the impacts are addressed. The review is as per our expectation that it's clear. So many times we lack of get the baseline data, and that's getting reflected when we go for the reviews. So my experience, I'm just talking about a few projects where we have to work with them, and 2-3 times we have to make them to come back with updated information so that the projects are getting cleared. And it's not that the regulator authorities are there to question you. It's only to help you out. Hope that my members from ministry agree that the only thing is we are trying to follow the guidelines what is framed for effective management of the system. Okay, so we have the responsibility of proponent and regulatory, and of course the community. So whatever we do, the proponent is role. I mean, the responsibility to get the proper documentation, proper data, and proper support for preparation of the report, so that it is not having any hassle for getting the clearance. So next one, please. I'm not going to take long time. The law we started with the environmental things in 1986, and today if we talk about 2022, we have implemented including the management of EV battery. So and EV battery, so it's very effective. In fact, the government is now setting up the review panel, the expertise, to work with the industry. If you want to start one battery industry, you need to catch hold of the reusers, the second life battery manufacturer or disposable. So the complete life cycle needs to be assessed. If I sell one battery, that life, the battery, where it goes, how many years it used, and where it is going to go for the disposal, and how the cycle is done. Unless that is good, no permission is given. So that is the level of maturity we have now. We have the technology, we have the board, we have the expert to assess this one. So it's monitored online. Like you can, each battery you're going to have a chip. So that battery, where it is, we can track at any point of time at any place. A battery, so where I'm also indirectly working there, where we have two industries, one for, I said, battery manufacturing, the other is battery, second life battery. So huge plant is coming up near Perungudi, so we are going to have a MOU very soon. So you can track your battery. So unless you have a tracking system, or you have a buyer for secondary battery or effective disposal industry, you cannot sell the battery. So that is the level where our structure authorities developed system. Tomorrow it may be for other industry like construction industry. When you build a construction industry, when you want to rebuild the old building, you must have a system where before taking the project, you should have the location for effective disposal and what you are going to do, how that debris are going to be managed. It's not far away, you are going to have it very soon. It is the case everywhere, every industry. So in the sense, our responsibility of as a proponent, the responsibility increase. The networking, we are going to have it. Any industry, like he said, okay, so tomorrow when they want to put up a plant, I mean new construction, or you are demolishing an old building, and what is the quantum of material is going to be in terms of material or metal, whatever it is, how it is going to be. So this is going to be networked in the future, and when you lock in, you will have somebody is going to come up with a place where they buy your waste debris and they dispose it instead of you do it. Like we have people to buy our waste, sewage waste, and they are disposing it. Today, all the gated communities, it's mandatory that you get somebody to take your waste and segregated waste. Otherwise, your permission not given, you know they will. So we have reached a level. It's all self-discipline, not that you need a statutory body to tell you what you have to do. So we have matured enough ourselves to manage the waste what we generate. So that's what the EC talks about. This is not something where you have to you have to learn things to implement. Only thing we are practicing may not be in the proper way where we practice. So that's reflected in terms of regulations, rules, law, whatever we call it. But at the end of the day, how mature enough to deal our waste, starting from simple sewage to the toxic chemicals which we play. Go to the next slide. So this is about an extension of the previous slide, like we have Air Act, Water Act, and whatever. Okay. Good, thanks. Next. Yeah. Okay. This all policy. This I think the work not covered extensively. So, yeah, actually the challenges, when we talk about the challenges, is very important. Like there are places still we need to improve, like big coordination and big, and like a public awareness, like I said, yes. Take simple example of the sewage management. Still, how many? What is the percentage of segregation is being done at cities, and how much it is effectively taken for effective management? So there are still long way to go. We have the system, but there is a lack of implementation and monitoring, and particularly weak folks. There's lack of adequate manpower. Corruption. I mean, actually, this not be political interference. Actually, we remove that. So there are leave all this. Can we move to the next slide? So we have the influences, we do have some kind of resistance, lack of interest implementation. Put it this way, right? So these are the real factors for not having an effective management overall. So where we really need to work on the emerging challenges. For example, like a new challenge, the climate change and so on. So it's a consequence of one in other side. Like one industry is making a problem to others. So these are the practical challenges from both sides, from proponent side and statutory authorities, where whatever we have it on the document, the ground reality is different, where government is taking a lot of effort to come to work on this. And sometime back we were just going, and the pollution control bodies to go to the industry to take samples. Today we have a monitoring system. Even they make a mistake, and these people give alarm that something's going on, and they send the people to warn or to make this remedial. So our system is improved a lot in the past 20 years. Yes, phenomenal improvement in terms of making things to happen in a right way, right direction, with a lot of experts and interacting the industry with academia, interacting industry with PPP model. There are a lot of initiatives and good amount of research have come. Go to the next slide. So this was actually few of the challenges from our side. For example, look at this. This available from, it's not that I have taken, this taken given in the Minister of Coal, where these are the things reported, the challenges for taking action. For example, like water required in construction stages. So this is where we have to pay a little bit more attention. So when we make the report, if we do not have a heterogeneous group with experts in all fields, we'll have this. So making report is certainly involves integration of experts in all fields. And most of my experience, we used to read some reports before we go for sitting in the load assessment committee, where I have not taken that reports here. So we do come across, so we just tell them that you incorporate. The fundamentally what we are making mistakes, like when, let us say for example, we are expanding our capacity, and we project that the existing infrastructure is good enough. Maybe we are operating 60% load, we'll be planning to extend to 70% or 80%. But then you simply ignore the water balance, where you have to depend on the other bodies. And how we are going to make it? And many times the report comes back because of these reasons. So a simple arithmetic water balance, and what you are going to do, additional load, and from where and how you are going to manage the waste. So if you are very clear in this, we are not going to look at the structures are not going to look at your technology, what technology you use. That's your business, you are very clear, and you take the best one for making your business. But from the statutory point of view, What you are taking from environment, what you are giving to the environment. These two are very important. And if you are comfortable in giving a simple arithmetic equation, you are through to get the AC clearance. So many times we miserably fail in making this report as per the requirement. So this is what we work on this. We don't see page to page what you are taking and what is add-on value, how much you additionally acquire, and what additional effluent comes out. What is the strategy for managing this effluent? It is the case with all industries. The new industry or old industry, where the authorities are looking only the 2 points, what we take and what we are giving to this. Once if we are clear, then we can manage. But this is where we have the problem. Look at this, the points like, no, that I say there will be no underground water. So these are the points taken from Minister Code, where they had the issues and this all. So this kind of report doesn't mean that they are inadequate. It's not the case. They have the adequacy. The only thing is not presented. That's my feeling is that it's not that they do not have the system. The only thing is not presented in a way where the statutory can look at and take the decision. Go to the next slide. Okay, so this one, the strengthening is like, we have the capacity and coordination. This, so we have the complete system, and where say networking is a network. So the government has realized and has taken all this networking. Now the TNPCB is connected well with Anna University, IITs and all leading institutes in South India. For any problem, they have the list of faculty experts to connect you. What all you need is only go and sit with them and solve the problem yourself. And now it has become mandatory for us also to work with the industry for the social need. So we have the complete network. The only thing we have to utilize such a way that we get things done without any hassle. So, like effective implementation, measures like better monitoring. This is it is getting implemented. So still a long way to go. I said at Guindy we monitor what is happening in Avadi, what is happening in Tuticorin. We have the monitoring system, and ground reality, yes, it's still a long way to go. Have 100%. And public participation, it is there, but not every sector. Not every sector. So where public participation, and sometimes it has become nuisance also, public participation, because they might be knowing exactly what you are doing it. So there you have to have a system, you need to have patience for convincing. So there are many issues in the public participation with so where you have to work in effective manner so that this also. So these are the real the challenges, and if the strength is we have the base infrastructure system. We have technologies, sound technologies, and good networking. And the challenges are implementation side and the team formation. There are some lacunas in coordinations. So, go next slide. Anything else? Yeah. So other things like I said, we have the green technologies promotions, and people are coming. Then, in fact, if you look at the EV side, there are many startups come up with very beautiful ideas. And beautiful ideas. Today I think we are contributing more than 30% of EV industries in India. And so where the thing is, we have very good system in the system, and there are still some challenges in terms of implementation, and some areas where we have to improve. Go to the other slide next. Anything? No. Okay. At the end, yeah, this is what I said. Okay, the Parvez portal, you go, all information are there. You don't have to go to anything. Just provide. But when you make that data submission, we have to be very careful what data you provide and how, in that sense, it should be convincing way such a way that the data can be read online and give the approval. And if we make, then it's bounce back with the corrections and provide, so that takes a lot of time. So, then, okay, so this is what I just wanted to share. I said, basically academician and little bit work on industrial need. So if you have any clarification this, I try to answer you. So my area of expertise is in the sense, particularly this side we work on safety and we do work on wedding of ETP, STPs and some technical issues faced by industries. Okay. Again, thank you, Dr. Moses and other members for allowing me to share some of our activities. And you can visit our website, and if you need, yes, we can. If anybody is interested, particularly like any industry or EV industries, yes, we are ready. You can visit our laboratory. We have a system. We can make coin cells in our lab, and very soon you can see our product on the road. Okay. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you. Yeah, no, not a converts MBR, not electrostatic MBR. So what we do is the MBR, the basic problem is the following issues, microwave. So what we do, we particularly irreversible fouling, we can classify the fouling. So the irreversible fouling because of the microwave particles close to the membrane pore size. So now if you remove that, or if you either increase or decrease, then the fouling, the reduction fouling is multiple times. So for this, what we are doing, we are integrating the electrochemical, where fundamentally it increases size of the particle. It forms a flux rather than the fine individual particles. So it becomes, instead of irreversible fouling, it becomes reversible fouling. That's already you have backwash for managing this. So in that backwash, it continuously all the particles. So what we do, without disturbing, without making any major changes in the conversion MBR, we introduce the electrochemical process where it helps to improve the particle size. It increases the particle size by 3 times, we measure. So that reduces the fouling, or in turn increases your permeate flux by 30 to 40%. So that's the technology we do.
Is it additive to be done?
It's not additive. We are actually called electrocoagulation. Okay, yeah, sacrificial electrode we use. So that forms a flux along the existing particles. It's not additive. Okay. Yes, my card, I'll just leave it in the, you can. So you are more welcome. In fact, we can operate, we have the reactor pilot scale where we can operate up to 2,000 liters a day. We have a big reactor. In fact, that we are trying to increase to 5,000 liters a day. You are most welcome to visit our laboratory. We can club. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you. Oh, yes, please. I'm very weak in PPT.
Sir, yeah. Thank you, sir, for the deep dive into the waste management and innovative ideas like battery. Yeah, please. Yeah, innovative idea for life cycle. Yeah, life cycle tracking of batteries and all these things. Sir, please come forward to receive our token of appreciation and this one from our director, Mr. Abhishek Moses.
Professor Dr. N. Balasubramanian, Professor, Safety and Environmental Consultant, DNV Certified HACCP and LOPA Practitioner, chartered engineer. With over 27 years of academic and industrial experience, Professor Dr. Balasubramanian has made significant contributions in teaching, consultancy, R&D, EIA, process safety, and renewable energy systems. He has executed numerous government and industry funded research projects and continues to actively serve as a consultant in environmental impact assessment, HASO, LOPA, and membrane bioreactors, particularly for EV batteries and renewable energy technologies. He has international experience across Malaysia, Taiwan, and active collaboration in New Zealand, Korea, Japan, Saudi Arabia, South Africa, Indonesia, and the Philippines. Professional accolades. Expert member, State Crisis Group, Environment and Chemical Accidents, Government of Tamil Nadu.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Yeah. Let us break for a short break for a tea, and we can rejoin after 12 noon. Thank you. Sir. And sir, there are more than around 200 years to listen your words and keynote on that legal framework of environmental clearance and all these things. So before starting, sir, we will just give a small introductory note to the audience to know you better than one. And yeah, 1 second, sir. Moses sir will also.
Sir,
First of all, my sincere apologies for unavoidable delay because of some official work. I have to go to minister and then come back. There is an regret for it.
Sir, thank you so much. This is Moses here, and it is really an honor and privilege to have you, sir, on board. And you are such a SCAC chairman for a big state, and we value your inputs today. And we are having almost 80 delegates today, and quite a lot of people on the line also. And we are very interested and thrilled to listen to you. Thank you once again, and you please do the introduction.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Please.
Professor Dr. C.T. Puttaswamy is a distinguished academician and environmental expert currently serving as the Director, Technical Cell at the Department of Forest, Ecology and Environment, Government of Karnataka. He also holds key positions as Member Secretary of the State Expert Appraisal Committee, SCAC, and the Karnataka State Coastal Zone Management Authority, KSCZMA. Dr. Puttaswamy holds a bachelor's degree in chemical engineering, a master's in industrial pollution control from NITK Surathkal, and a PhD in energy and environment from VTU. With over 25 years of teaching, research, and administrative experience and 5 years in industry, he has held prominent academic roles including Professor and Head at BMS College of Engineering and Director of the BMS Engineering Consultancy Center. His extensive contributions include 18 research publications, 2 patents, and 35 industry or academic projects. He is a chartered engineer and fellow of IE, a life member of 9 professional organizations, and a recipient of several honors, including the State Environmental Award 2017 and the Eminent Engineer Award 2023 from the Institution of Engineers, Karnataka Center. Professor Dr. C.T. Puttaswamy.
Sir, over to you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you very much. First of all, thank you for giving me an opportunity to present whatever my learnings actually. And actually, I am supposed to attend physically because of some unavoidable reason. It was not anticipated. There is a reason I thought I'll take a chance and request you to make it present online. So I definitely. In your next program, if you plan in advance, definitely I'll make it in physical to come and meet you all. I think it is a great opportunity to meet people rather than making a presentation in virtual actually. So there's a lot of interaction and personal touch is more important as what I believe actually. So thank you for Dr. Moses and Hubert Neurosystems for giving me an opportunity to share my thought actually. So I'll go to my presentation. Today, I think I'm not going to discuss about the EA notification as such actually, because many people knows and many practicing engineers who are attending maybe knowing all those things better actually. So now I am thinking of making a presentation on I think you'll be able to see my desktop.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Presentation.
Yeah.
Okay, so I am going to talk on EAA in India. That is whether it is a decision-making tool or just a bureaucratic procedure. So I feel sometimes though with a good intention, it is started in India. EA notification as per the 1986 Environmental Protection Act in 1994, and covering around 17 category of industries with some rider like investment criteria and all those things. Subsequently, it has transformed or maybe implemented in so many forms actually, like this EA notification again, it is revised in 2004 for want of including the building and construction project, and then completely remodeled in 2006. After that, 2006, there are so many other notifications, amendments, and then deletion, additions, and modifications have come as per better the category A and category B project. So here, so these things I'll not go about MOF notification, all those things. I think many people might have spoken actually. So I'll directly go to the EA in India and what is the decision making, whether a tool or a bureaucratic approach, what is that? So here the background, I have made a few points actually. What is the requirement of this decision making in India? So increasing number of developmental and manufacturing services oriented industrial project is sweeping across the country or the world actually. That was the reason for introducing this EA notification. And the second point is there is a growing list of cases where many projects should have not been seen the light of the day actually. So the third one is government and regulators are claiming not to worry as each project is undergoing rigorous EAA so that development and environmental go hand in hand, that is sustainable. See, always we call it as a sustainable. Sustainable means, as per the general definition, the development and as well as environment should go hand in hand. Whether we have to retrospect whether it is doing as required. Maybe example, the 33% green cover is required across the India as a whole, whether it is achieved. Still we are lacking 15-16% or maybe less than that. So in that aspect we have to retrospect whether this regulatory rigorous EA process is achieving or not in light of this. The sad fact is as many EA consultant organizations are not up to the mark actually. Maybe lack of professionalism or rat race, what I have seen, because I'm working in this field almost when I joined my college, I started simultaneously this freelancing, advising companies and then people who have approached me actually. I have seen and I have interacted with since 2000. So that's how I felt it. I put this sad fact is many AA consultant organizations are not up to the mark. Maybe sometimes they lack professionalism, or maybe because of the rat race, we are compromising our quality or so. So how do developers get away with such poor outcomes? So obviously because of the rat race and not professionalism, and they will need some form of clearances. Somehow they want to get away and then make money or do get away from the system. So the next point is, are EAA serving the real purpose of protecting the environment or designed to serve the project proponent? So I feel actually I was thinking the education will solve everything during my childhood days, and later I realized that education is spoiling the whole environment and the whole society, or maybe you can see the illiterate or maybe a not educated person has not done any damage to the environment, or he has not compromised in any way. So whatever said and done, as per my knowledge, the so-called educated and then the greedy people, they are the reason for this state of affair today. So maybe many people may agree or may disagree, but it's my opinion over the year actually. So these are all some of the issues I thought of I'll share actually. I'll organize this presentation into two parts actually. What is EAA and then SWOT analysis about issues in EAA studies. Some of them are really critical and some of them are generic. So what is EAA study? You know that it is a tool which is supposed to be used in order to make the society or environment sustainable. But however, it is a decision-making tool. EA compares various alternatives for a project actually. See, we have to, what we are doing at source control rather than source control, we are going to approach in a end of the pipe treatment. So always we need to have a backward integration and see that whether it is possible or not, and then we have to make the design in such a way that see there is a belief understanding. My understanding always the design never be wrong. Either the designer may be wrong or the data assumed may be wrong. Okay, whatever the data assumed or whatever the design principles is applied, that design is going to work actually. In case if it is not working, that means designer is, may not be wrong. Either designer may be wrong or the data assumed may be wrong. Okay, the design never be wrong actually, as in case if the principles are followed, and seek to identify the one which represent the best combination of economic and the environmental cost and benefits with sustainable development. Always, every time we speak on sustainable development, and many of us fail to understand what is the sustainable development. Example, in a building, there's a 1 acre plot actually. It was absorbing so much of radiation, and because of the ground coverage, there is a reflecting back the radiation. Okay, so what is the heat island effect? So what is the alternative methods you have proposed in order to combat that heat island effect? So we are not concentrating on basic things which is required in the development. As one example, you can give many examples for a sustainable development which is not there is a percolation. So there is artificial percolation. Whether we are able to achieve that, whatever happening due to the natural soil and the same thing is happening or not. So we are not able to maintain the sustainable development in the EAA. That is where we are failing actually. EAA systematically examine both beneficial and adverse consequence of project, ensure that these effects are taken into account during the project design, but we are failed to do account these benefit. Only we are ensuring the benefit rather than whether compensating or alternative, we are not thinking actually. So it should help identify possible environmental effects on the proposed project, proposed measures to mitigate adverse effects actually. So we have to think of whether how we can identify what are the alternative. So what is the impact and what is the mitigation measures? Okay, so we need to think of so many different angles in order to combat this, and then we need to predict whether there is significant environmental effect even after the mitigation implemented. See, for everything there is alternatives actually. So we are not thinking about alternatives and possible best possible solutions. Only we are thinking shortcut and short gains so that we get away from this and can be implemented, or later tomorrow we'll see and it is not in my backyard. So that we are only passing the responsibilities rather than owning the responsibilities. Proper conducted EA also lessens conflicts by promoting community participation, informed decision making, and help lay the base of environmental sound projects. But we are failing in combating this aspect actually. So there are 5 reasons. What I have identified is identification. So what will happen as a result of the project? So unless if I identify the impacts, unless I check for the impact mitigation for the identified, and definitely there will be there will be repercussion, and then the consequence will be different actually. Cascading effect will be there on the project actually. So after as I told you, the design never be wrong. Either a designer may be wrong or the data assumed may be wrong. So identify what the impacts or what parameters you are identifying in order to assess is most important in EAS preparation. And then prediction, what will be the extent of the changes? So maybe example, whether the ground coverage or whether the heat island effect or whether we are maybe avoiding some unavoidable circumstance. Okay. So we need to predict, foresee that for a 20 years. See example, one example prediction. FIR floor area ratio, they are rampantly they are increasing actually. So they are misusing without thinking any impact. What could be the traffic density or whether carrying capacity is there in the reason, whether vertical development or whether lateral development is what is the advantage. And there is no pros and cons in the prediction. What bureaucrats or the people who are thinking not able to fail to give a implementation strategies. And then we need to evaluation. Do the changes so whatever is happening, maybe in case if I go vertically, so the surface area, exposed surface area is more as compared to horizontal development for the radiation for the heat island effect to create. Whether is there any evaluation is done? No evaluation is done. Okay, and in case if it is there, what is the mitigation? How do you mitigate? Whether you are going to a concrete walls, snell and then roof, or low E glasses are you proposing? Are you proposing a recessed window or whether natural light and ventilation? Whether are you having a air exchange design properly in order to make the system energy efficient building? So there is no planning actually. What could be done about them? And then documentation. So it is a last preference is done in most of the cases. So even though if they identify, if they predict or evaluate, and then they don't want to give the documentation and say that it is going to impact actually. Because if you say it's a negative, nobody wants to say that negative results actually. Everybody wants to show that it's a positive and positive and positive. And positive will not make any benefit actually on the paper actually. So documentation, whatever is there, whatever the impact predictions have been done, and then summary or maybe about the description of the details has to be given with the pros and cons. Then only documentation will have a value actually. See, always any experiment need not success actually. Then somebody has to give a reference to failure also, so that somebody need not attempt the same thing actually. So that is documentation is the most. Okay, there are 3 core values is important actually. I'm sorry, how many minutes I have? I can plan accordingly.
So another 10 minutes, sir.
Okay, 10 minutes. Thank you. No problem. So most of the things is there should be integrity. Okay, always whoever is taking, and it should be unbiased, and there should be objective oriented, and there should be a balanced in the system in order to maintain actually. So and then utility. The EA process should provide the balanced, credible information for decision making. So some based on the utility we need. So ultimately sustainability, we talk sustainable EA process should result in environmental safeguard and mitigation measures, and then reduce the impact because of the development or whatever maybe. So EA in India. So, 1972 NCPC by Planning Commission to undertake EA major development projects actually. EA notification derived their authority from Environment Protection Rule 1986. EA mandated that time. After that 1986 EP Act, this came in 1994 actually. And then in 1997 amendment to include public hearing is done. After that, 2004, 2006, and then many amendment and many notification have come that as per the MOF notification, several amendment have come. And where they are taking into various aspects actually. SWOT analysis, part 2, what the strength, weakness, opportunities and threat because of this EA process in India. So well-defined legal structure, there is no doubt EA structure. EA mandatory 1986 EP Act linked to other laws, many laws like water, air, hazardous and safety regulation, so many things has been covered actually. Good regulatory infrastructure, so in the strength actually. So there is a EAC, SCAC, CPCB, State Pollution Control Board, Department of Environment. Like that, there are different level actually. So now DAC is a district level. Is time being it's been there is abundant. So maybe it may come in future. So what is the opportunities? Enhanced public awareness, better acceptable save time, money, and possibilities of coordination. That is save time and money is an opportunity in most of the EA studies. So what is the threat actually in EA study? Poor environmental governance. So maybe many bureaucrats should look into it, and then or maybe regulators should look into it whether we are making a poor environmental governance or whether is there any efficient or the required governance is there or not. Lack of trained professionals. This is what I feel actually there's no dearth for professionals actually, and the trained professionals are who has got a inculcated professionalism in their profession is lacking actually. So that's what I felt like, lack of trained professionals. And it is like see, we need to, the professionals whoever are done some, put some substantial time and effort in this field, at least minimum 10 to 15 years, should handle the professionals or graduates so that they can come into this, and then you will have a professionals in order to take care of this, what our threat is happening. Unhealthy competition among states, consultant organizations. So this it's unavoidable, and maybe there are a lot of regulation is required, and even MOF or NABET have failed to make this proper healthy competition among the consultant. Inconsistent policies. So time to time there is a change in policies, and then there is no consistent policies. And the last one, I don't want rampant in most of the system and the greediness, and then so many background I don't want to give actually. So this is a threat what I considered in EAA. And weakness actually. Screening and scoping is not well defined in EA notification, what I my understanding. So there is there's no impact basis screening they have provided in the guidelines actually. Project coming in industrial estate do not need EA. So there are dilution, what I can say sometime. Even there are some industries which substantially contribute to damages to environment have been considered without public hearing or compromising. Brownfield or greenfield both are treated at par in most of the cases. Public consultation or hearing done after EA is carried out, so failed to address public concerns actually. So I feel there is a debate actually. Sometime any critical projects has to be done public hearing before even EA preparation, and then you can involve many stakeholders in order to prepare, consider the impacts, and then prepare EA required. So I know good EA may not become a sustainable or I don't believe that if you make a good EAA will solve the environmental problem. But after making a proper impact and mitigation measures, the compliance is most important actually. In case if you are not, if you are because the most of the is EAA failing because of the non-compliance after implementation or during the implementation period or during the operating period. There is another weakness is insufficient baseline data. So the baseline data are maybe it is seasonal data. They are taking one season. Whether they could some project at least required not a drag this one season. It should have the annual season. So if you take one season only 2 days in a week, there's no representative data can be obtained. Who selects sampling location? Important actually. So there is no professionals are going to the site in order to select. Actually, it is done based on a downwind direction or based on seeing in a topo sheet or in a Google locations and maybe authenticity of the sampling location and then the requirement whether it's meeting or not also is a questionable actually. This is another weakness. Locations are selected, integrity of the data collected during the site actually. See, I have seen many reports actually. There are a lot of inconsistency in most of the cases. Many analysis data does not qualify for appraisal at all actually. There is no ionic balance. If you go to check the ionic balance, none of the reports, maybe at least 80% of the reports are failing to meet the ionic balance in soil, water and groundwater analysis actually. So as far as air quality is concerned, I agree. In case if they generally done in 4 hour randomly multiplied with 24 hour or 8 hour into multiplied into 3 times. So like that there are people who take advantage and then the authenticity or the correctness of average they don't make actually. See, when they do it in the daytime 4 hours and when they do it in the night time 10 hours and the quality is different actually. So that is the reason many people are showing higher the value and some people are showing lower the value and there is no inconsistency in the baseline data. It's a poor quality what I observed in many reports. No quality assurance of secondary data used in most of the cases. So that is another weakness actually. Poor evaluation impact. That is actually we have to blame the system for evaluation. The people who are not having a background are being evaluated and then advised and then considered as professionals. And often generic comments and summary are made, so there is no specific comments. And you see, in case they raise any EDS or ADS or any comments in the ESC or SCSC, there should be a value for it actually. And only for remarks, it cannot be some comments or out of many. So that's what I feel. No quantification and impact due to project actually. Impacts are not done for worst case scenario. Sometimes we may say we do worst case scenario or whatever it is. Ultimately, that nowadays projects are doing, but we need all the projects should consider for a worst case scenario. Inconsistent application and prediction tools. Many tools have been used and those are all inconsistent and there is no validation of that models which have been used and the baseline are computed and not discussed properly and maybe summary is not given and then justification is not given. So conclusion is not given. So and many places they say not applicable. They say why they don't say why it is not applicable. They say applicable and there is no justification why what is the impact due to applicability or whatever. So like that, too many unnecessary data captured and then this data which is not required actually. See, EIA need not be done 200 pages. Even if we make properly with proper required 50 page or 60 page or 100 page, it is more than enough. But the data, whatever is there, should be proper, should be authenticated, should have value for it actually when we do. Improper study not monitored by environment agencies, sometimes they give to many other people unqualified or maybe unprofessionals are getting into the business. So that is another threat actually in the weakness in the EA process. No quality assurance data, poor analysis of environmental management plan, no post-project monitoring, and it is the most important actually. No post-monitoring is done properly either by client or even many company not proposing environmental monitoring cells actually. Only big companies, MNCs, and some companies may propose. So it's our duty to advise and then educate the companies. These are the minimum requirement, and no capacity building from the system. So public participation is not proper, and maybe vested interest people are more participating than the people are busy with their routine or their commitment, and the environment is there, not their secondary. It is not a primary, it has become a secondary. So those are all some of the weaknesses we are having not adequately addressed in most of the cases actually. So that is public also have not understood what public participation. So there is a lack of coordination between the agencies. There is they release one notification and another agency will not be knowing, and they give some other advisors. So like that, there is no coordination between the agencies at all actually. What the MOF knows and what the CPCB knows and what the state PCB knows, there is a lot of gap actually. So that is the weakness what we are thinking of. Poor quality, poor professionals. As already I told, actually developer has a lot of control and influence on the consultant. See, they say, no, you have to do this. I don't know how you are going to do. So that is the terms is being dictated by project proponent. Often experts behave as consultant and not professionals. So that is another drawback actually. So not independent by any means actually. Should EA consultant depend the project in public? This is not like a judge in a murder trial justifying for the defense. That what I felt actually. So the conclusion, EA because of several reasons are not stopping the bad projects. Maybe reasons you know better. Rigorous assessment need time and effort, resource technically challenging and expensive. EA fails to consider long-term impact. Government have vested interest to many. That is a irony of the country and state. EAs often give some ill advised underpasses in major roads for animal crossing, and poor review mechanism of EA. We need professionals with integrity to carry out EA and not by biostutes who sell their soul for money. Time to impose serious penalties for state and corporate misrepresentation for collusion and lack of transparency in decision making. EA process is more a bureaucratic process than a decision making tool. So I will leave it to your judgmental whether the EA process is a bureaucratic or is a decision tool. I leave it to you. So thank you very much. Always I believe attitude is a matters actually. So this diagram show you what is the attitude of the person who has done this. So non-judicial use of any natural resource is a social crime. So I thank you, thank the organizers for providing an opportunity and share this whatever learning I have done. So if you have any questions, you are welcome, sir. Hope it has given some input.
Questions?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the, 1 second, sir.
So Moses again, Your session,
Yes, sir.
your session was really good. And first time in my career I see a SWOT analysis on a EIA. I think it's a very innovative thing what you have done. And you have clearly identified a lot of good things, and you are quite transparent in putting your things forward. I appreciate, Doctor, and look forward for more meaningful seminars to be done. And please give me a date for Bangalore. We'll fix it up immediately.
Yes, sir. We'll discuss, sir. I'll discuss. Yeah. Thank you very much. I'm really sorry for due to some unavoidable circumstances, I could not join on time actually.
No, it would
So
have been nice.
Dwarknath sir, my apologies to Dwarknath sir for not able to join on time during the inauguration time.
Anyway, thank you, sir. We enjoyed your session. Appreciate. Thank you so much, sir. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I hope Murali Krishna sir has joined. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, next Dr. Murali Krishna sir will be joining for addressing his session on lifestyle for environment, an idea-led global movement to protect and preserve the environment. Sir, welcome to the session, to the seminar. All are waiting for your speech. And of course, I hope you can hear us and you are audible. We are audible, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, before starting, we will just give a small intro to your this one profile, and of course, we will hand over the mic to you, sir.
Dr. Murali Krishna is currently working as Additional Director, Scientistry in the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Sub-Regional Office at Vijayawada, and looking after monitoring and enforcement of projects that have been accorded environmental clearance in the jurisdiction of Andhra Pradesh. Dr. Murali worked earlier in the Ministry headquarters and has served as Member Secretary, Genetic Engineering Appraisal Committee, and in control of pollution, and has also worked in Regional Office, Bangalore. Dr. Murali has a doctorate in biotechnology with several other additional qualifications like Masters in Patent Law, Project Management, etc. And he is also a certified corporate social responsibility professional, and his core areas of research interest includes biopolymers, biofuels, and previously he worked with MNCs like EI DuPont, Unisankyo, etc. and was also a project manager for UNEP. He is an USDA Cochrane Fellow and has published several national and international articles on various topics in peer-reviewed journals.
Thank you for waiting, and over to you, sir.
So thank you for the wonderful introduction, sir. So first of all, let me take this opportunity to thank the organizers for inviting me to make a presentation on an interesting topic and out of the box topic also. So even though the topic for today's seminar is environmental clearance and its challenges, my friend Dr. Pudduswamy has explained enough. So I'll take you to a different topic today. So this is a new initiative taken by India, so which has to be adopted by and followed by all of us. So this is called as a mission LIFE. So LIFE stands for Lifestyle for Environment. So before going into the topic, I will just give a brief about our biodiversity. As we all know, India is recognized as one of the mega biodiverse countries. So globally there are around 17 biodiverse countries and India ranks 12 among them. With a mere 2.4% of global land area, we have around 8% of globally recognized species. That's a proud thing which we all should be proud of. But at the same time, there are 34 biodiversity hotspots globally. Of the 34 biodiversity hotspots, 4 are in India. So one is in the Himalayan ranges, the second one is in the Western Ghats, the other one is in Indo-Burma border on the northeastern side of India. The last one is on the Sunda Islands near the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. So one way it is alarming, one way it is satisfying to know that we have a rich biodiversity. But the word hotspot is really dangerous and alarming. Because any area, if it has to be qualified as a biodiversity hotspot, means in one particular square kilometer area, it needs to have at least 1500 endemic plant species, and of that, at least 70% should have been vanished. That means only 30% is remaining as of now. And for preserving those 30% of the remaining pristine endemic plant species, so as a country, as a global forum, everybody is taking certain measure so that at least this entire biodiversity is not lost. So we all know that due to climate change, there have been several adverse impacts globally. So in order to address the same thing, the United Nations along with its member countries in 2015 adopted 17 sustainable development goals. Basically, some of them are relevant to few countries, but for an Indian context, most of the sustainable development goals are relevant. So in order to achieve these sustainable development goals, we have set a target of 169 targets also. That means each goal is subdivided into again few targets. So like for example, clean energy. So how do we achieve clean energy? So there are few targets within the sustainable development goals. So with this, realizing the drastic impacts of climate change, the biodiversity loss, this decade is considered to be one of the most advanced decade where there is a severe loss to the species. And it is estimated that by the end of this decade, around 10,000 species would be vanished from this earth. So realizing all these things, so our Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi ji, in 26th COP, gave a mass movement. So it's called as a Mission Life. That means lifestyle for environment. These are small initiatives commemorating our 75 years of independence in 2021. So our Honorable Prime Minister set a target of about 75 actions. That means if we adopt those actions on our day-to-day lifestyle, so we can make a major impact as a team or a collectively. If we all collectively practice some of the small initiatives, so the impact would be enormous, which I will explain in my subsequent slide with few examples. So this is the basic mission life. There are few objectives of this mission. So this is being currently implemented with the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change in India as a nodal ministry. So there is a new division also for this. So mission life. So one of the main objective of this is to at least sensitize 100 crore people. So not only in India, but globally also. So we have to create awareness. Then we have to tell them what will be the consequences of ignoring the environment and resulting in environmental damage. So another target is at least 80% of the villages and urban local bodies needs to be created awareness. And the basic objective will be like, we all should practice a lifestyle that is synchronous with nature, that which our ancestors or our previous generations used to do, or live with the nature. And those people who are going to follow these objectives and activities should be called as pro-planet people. Then, why mission life is crucial for the world? So as we all know, I will not go into the minute details like what kind of damages is going to happen to the environment because of the climate change. But as a point, setting a background, so it is estimated that just by a mere 2 degree centigrade increase in temperature, there would be a water scarcity. Around 3 billion people are going to face this impact. And not only the environment has not only a devastating effect on the water bodies or other environmental systems, but it's going to have a major impact on the economy also.
Sir, sorry to interrupt. Sir, sorry to interrupt.
Around 18% of the GDP will also be lost.
Sir, sorry to interrupt. Would you please make it full screen, sir, so that it will be more visible, the slides?
Sir, I couldn't hear you.
Sir, would you please make it in big screen, that full screen presentation?
Sorry, I didn't get you.
Sir, can you just make it in full screen?
Okay, right.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, no issues. So, sir, I'll just give few. While brushing, keep our taps flowing. So if you just close those taps 2-3 minutes, cumulative impact of around 9 trillion liters of water we can save. Similarly, while going to a market or for shopping, if we carry our own cloth bag instead of a plastic bag, we can save around 375 million tons of solid waste from entering into the landfill. So cumulatively, this is a huge number where we all can contribute individually as well as collectively. Similarly, instead of discarding the electronic waste, so most of the time affordability is not an issue, sir. Like if there is a small problem in my mobile, instead of getting it repaired, if I am going for buying a new one, so I should dump this old one somewhere else. Due to by ignoring these kind of small things, we are contributing to our, if we make these changes and if we use electronic items in a systematic manner, we can save around 0.75 million tons of e-waste entering into the landfills. So similarly, globally there are around 6,000 children who die on a daily basis because of malnutrition or starvation. But we all end up wasting our food so much. Like if we all can have a small meal and don't waste our food unnecessarily, so we can save around 15 billion tons of food from going into landfills. These are some extrapolated numbers, just few examples. Like this, if we all collectively work towards sustainable this thing, we all can make a big change. So now coming to the India's strength. So the next question will be like, is India capable of doing this? Have India ever demonstrated this kind of thing? Like achieving a target of reaching to 100 billion people, creating awareness for 100 billion people. So we have some few classic examples where India has demonstrated its skills. Like just during a period of 75 days, so we were able to collect 15,000 tons of waste from 75 beaches. So during the Swachh Sagar Surakshit Sagar Abhiyan. Similarly, under the Swachh Bharat mission, we were able to construct 100 million toilets in just a span of 7 years. Similarly, under the Ujjwala scheme, so in 2015, the LPG connections were only 62%. But just in 6 years span, we were able to achieve this number to 99.8%. So these are some remarkable achievements which all of us as Indians should be proud. So because India has demonstrated and showed its capability, like these are not small numbers. So this is collectively, if we all work together, yes, we can do it. But not as an individual, but it should be a collective effort. So coming to the life themes, there are 7 categories. As I said earlier, 75 actionable points have been formulated. There could be many more actions which we all can follow on a day-to-day basis. But commemorating 75 years of independence, to 75 points were stipulated. And these 75 points have been categorized into 7 sectors, like reduce waste, reduce e-waste, adopt healthy lifestyles, adopt sustainable food systems, say no to single-use plastic, save water, save energy. Now what I will do is I will just touch upon each sector and with few examples like under each sector, what few changes which we can adopt on a day-to-day basis on our lives. Coming to the energy sector, we can prefer using LED bulbs, use public transport wherever possible. For a shorter distance, we can opt for a walk or a bicycle instead of a car or bike. Then use carpooling if from the same apartment, if a team of 4 or 5 people are going to the same place. So we can use carpooling instead of individual these things. Switch off our engines wherever not required. Keep the AC temperatures at 24 degrees. Like this, instead of running on a treadmill, we can go for a walk. The air quality outside is good. We can go for a walk or a jog. Like these are small initiatives which we can adopt in our day-to-day lifestyle. Then coming to water saving examples, like if there is the monsoons are not good, and if we are running shortage of rainfall, we can go for less crop-intensive crops like millets. Then we all should make this habit of creating rainwater harvesting structures everywhere. Wherever possible, we should reuse water. So during wet, so use buckets instead of hose pipes or water tubs, because water tubs will consume a lot of water. Then one more interesting thing is like fixing of leaks. Many a times what we do is we observe there is a small drop kind of a leakage in taps or pipes. Instead of fixing it, we all ignore it. But if we take a moment and try to fix it, it can save a considerable amount of water. Maybe the experts can think of like this is my wild idea. Like I see that every day 2-3 buckets of water is wasted from my AC. So what I am at least doing is like I am collecting that water instead of allowing it directly into the drain. I am collecting that and using it for my plantation purpose. Maybe this is a good idea, like on a cumulative larger scale, wherever there is large number of ACs and there is where there is discharge of water from the ACs or ROs, we can, instead of draining them, we can think of reusing these things. These are some classic examples, and there are many more such initiatives which I'm sure many of you would be following also. Then this year, all of you are aware that the theme for the World Environment Day is ending plastic pollution globally. So this is one of the 7 themes that have been adopted in the Mission Life. Like let's prefer use a cloth bag instead of plastic bags. So if you are carrying for traveling for a shorter distance, where we anticipate our water usage will be like 1 or 2 liters, instead of buying a plastic bottle, we can carry our own water bottle. So wherever possible, let's try to switch on to eco-friendly or biodegradable items. So like similarly, we can think of using bamboo-based items or neem-based items instead of a plastic. Basic objective is to reduce the usage of single plastics in whatever way possible from our side. Then the other theme for the Mission Life is like sustainable food systems. We should try to add millets in our diets. So wherever possible, instead of throwing the food into the landfill or wasting it, if possible, if there is a provision, especially maybe CREDAI or the Apartments Association can take up this initiative. And there is one easy condition also, like we recommend by establishment of organic waste converters. But many times I don't see. But these kind of small, but we should try to insist for the installation of an OWC in wherever there are some group housing or apartments, so that instead of wasting the food, we can compost and convert it into manure, and we can use it for gardening and other places also. Wherever possible, we also explore creation of kitchen gardens or terrace gardens at home. That instead of having a large meal and wasting food on a plate, we should try to have small meals multiple times, and whatever we want, we should put it on our plate and we should consume. So these are some these things. Similarly, Swachhata actions. Some of our we can call it as a charity action also or Swachhata action also. Instead of throwing our old clothes and books which are in good usable condition, if we think of donating it, so it will serve somebody else's purpose also. It will, in a way, it is a good initiative also. It's not only we are doing charity, we are helping somebody. And not only helping somebody, but at the same time contributing for safeguarding our environment also. Wherever possible, we all should think of using recycled products, newspaper, magazines, etc. Instead of packing and putting them and allowing them to get rusted or these things, we can sell it to recyclers who will recycle and reuse. Similarly, many times we'll have a lot of furniture at home. There will be minor repairs for that. Instead of fixing those repairs, we think of buying a new one. So let's get rid of this kind of habits. Wherever there is a possible, and if there is an opportunity of reusing it, let's get it repaired and use it for a few more years. Then instead of taking a single side printouts, we all should taking printouts on both sides, and setting the printer more in a default double side will also save considerable amount of energy and resources. Then these are some of the lifestyle habits which Mission Life encourages. Like all industries, everybody has a target of maintaining 33% green belt as part of EC compliance also. So what I suggest is, whether you like or you don't like, if there is a statutory norm which has to be followed, it has to be followed. There is no second thought on that. So in those 33% green belt, instead of putting some fancy plants, you try to plant some medicinal plants or fruit-bearing plants or some vegetable, so some other plants which are of indigenous nature, and the outputs of those plants can be used again. So, for example, like if you grow vegetables in your industrial garden, so those vegetables can be used by your canteen. So suppose you generate some fruits, the same can be distributed in your colony or to your employees or to your staff. So like this, and then you can grow medicinal plants, and medicinal plants can have a commercial value also. Like this, we should try to do more number of plantation, think of going for an organic farming, wherever possible, try to reduce the usage of pesticide, to create awareness among your colleagues, friends, families. So this should be on a continuous basis, not like World Environment Day is coming on that June 5th. We take some pledge, we do some presentation and forget about it for next 11 or 12 months. It should not be like, this should be a part and parcel of our day-to-day lifestyle. That's what Mission Life aims for. So similarly, reducing e-waste. It seems data storage and cloud will have some good environmental benefit than storing the data on a pen drive or hard drive. So then wherever possible, if there is a minor repair for your electronic device, try to fix it instead of discarding it. So with this, I wanted to give a brief background of what Mission Life aims for and what we all collectively should do this. I just set it a platform. So I'm sure that many of you would be adopting this on a day-to-day basis. Now it's a time that we all should pledge to ourselves that we will make all possible changes in our daily life with environment. So, and continuously motivate friends, families, and others about the importance of environment. So, since we are from this background, at least it is our responsibility, because we are working in these sectors. should create more and more awareness, and we should encourage people to adopt good lifestyle habits which can have a great impact collectively. So with this, I thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity to share my thoughts on Mission Life. So thank you one and all. So I wish you good luck for your subsequent presentations.
Thank you, sir.
I'll be happy to take any quick questions if you have.
Thank you, sir, for sharing this visionary national initiative, the Mission Life, and inspires local action and global impact. And of course, for suggesting some practical recommendation or mitigation measures to achieve the SDGs at the earliest. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now I invite Advocate Siddhant Kauli, Supreme Court Counsel, to address compliance features and legal counsels consequences. And before that, yeah, please accept our. Yeah. Before that, we will just make a note on that introduction to advocate. Yeah. Sir, one moment to. Thank you, Rajkumar sir.
Siddhant Kohli is an advocate on record in the Supreme Court of India and a partner at Kohli and Chandra Advocates, a law firm based out of Delhi. They run a predominantly Supreme Court based practice with an emphasis on constitutional law, environmental law, administrative law, and corporate law. He has worked with the chambers of the former Attorney General for India, Shri K.K. Venugopal, as well as the former Additional Advocate General for Tamil Nadu, Shri Balaji Srinivasan, and represents a number of corporates and other entities in the Supreme Court.
Thank you very much for the introduction, Mr. Moses. Thank you, sir, for having me here. Mr. Ali, Mr. Dwarkanath, Dr. Balasubramaniam, Dr. Puttuswamy, Dr. Murli Krishna, my distinguished members of the audience. Every time, though I am from Delhi, every time I come to Chennai, this place feels very much like home. The warmth that I always receive here is fantastic, and I'm very grateful for that every time I come here.
The weather or?
The people are amazing, sir. And I must mention the food as well. Just coming to the point now, if the presentation can be started, please. We come together here at a time of legal flux, where the Supreme Court recently, in Van Shakti's case, has struck down the concept of ex post facto clearances. And the court says that if you've not taken a prior EC, whatever you've done so far is illegal and it must be demolished. Now, the broad theme that I want to project here is that this ruling of the Supreme Court may result in what is, I can only call it a legal vacuum, where the law requires something to be done and the situation on the ground does not conform with what the law requires today. And therefore, some sort of a balance needs to be found, either at the courts level or at the government's level, and definitely by engagement with the project proponents, on where a balance is possible, on how do you move forward from what this impasse has created. And the situation really is rather grim. You've got thousands of real estate projects across the country. You've got industries, you've got minor violators, and you've got major violators. You've got people who are operating merely at the fringes of the issue. You have people who've got prior ECs, you have people who've not got prior ECs. So you've got all sorts of people, and they all need to be dealt with very, very separately. You can't have a one-size-fixed-all formula. I think Dr. Balasubramaniam said this, or Dr. Dwarkanath said this in his speech, that an EC is an individualistic endeavor, and every EC is examined by the EAC at an individual level. So you can't have a one-size-fits-all formula for this. But the Supreme Court's judgment ultimately today calculates everybody in that way. So I'll now quickly come to the slides, and we can just move on to the next slide, to slide number 2, maybe the backdrop. Yeah, the next one. Yeah, the next one, please. Right. So why are we here? Why are we in this backdrop today, where the court has made such a drastic decision, and why is everybody suddenly struggling with all of this? The first thing is that if you see the history of environmental law in India, you will realize that environmental law is made as an outcome of judicial decisions. Right from the 70s, it was the Supreme Court which first said that no, environmental law is important, protecting the environment is important. These principles of sustainable development, polluter pays, precautionary principle, all this has come from the Supreme Court, and then ultimately Parliament has accepted this, the government has accepted this, and this forms a part of our statutory law today. And it's a consequence of the judgments of the Supreme Court that you have the Environment Protection Act, the Water Act, the Air Act, all the other statutes that are mentioned. Now, the result of this is that normally when you find policy being made, policy is made in a deliberative manner, where a discussion is held between the stakeholders and the government, and ultimately something that is workable is created. Here, policy is being made in the manner that the courts function, which is an adversarial manner, where you have one lawyer on one side, one party on the other side with his lawyer, and both their sides are arguing in that individual case. And it is a fight, it is an argument, it is adversarial. And ultimately the judge decides in the facts of those cases that even though there are two adversaries before me, these are certain principles of constitutional law and environmental law that I will lay down. The result also is that the leeway that is available to the government in framing policies, we lawyers like to call it the play in the joints. You know, the government has a play in the joints in deciding policy, and the courts won't interfere. In environmental law, this play in the joints, this flexibility is lesser because of these judgments. And you find that as a reason of that, the government ultimately ends up reacting to these judgments instead of proactively thinking about how environmental regulation should work. Now, I call this that here the court is the thought leader. Instead of the government being the thought leader and the project proponents being the thought leaders, the court ends up being the thought leader and ends up bringing in these principles of environmental law, which ideally are a matter of policy, one would think. Now, there are multiple reasons for this. One is obviously there are realities on the ground, there are pressures of all sorts, there are administrative realities. But ultimately what I think is the reason is that the government is more alive to economic concerns, to employment, to creating industry. And the judiciary, because it is insulated from these politics, from these concerns, from these realities, it is able to take a more idealistic view on these matters. But anyway, this is all a matter of background and perhaps gives us some context on why the court decides these matters in the way it decides them. Just last week, the Chief Justice was here, the current Chief Justice of India, Mr. Gawai. He was hearing a matter regarding some tree cutting in Hyderabad. It's been all over the news. Some thousands of trees were cut near the University of Hyderabad. And he directed the government to replant the entire forest. And he says, yeah. Yeah, that's okay. So he says, we will go out of our way to protect the environment. Now, according to me, this is the predominant arch of environmental protection in India. The courts will go out of their way to protect the environment. And therefore, we as project proponents, as stakeholders in the process, have to be alive to this one reality, that the court will go out of its way to protect the environment. We therefore have to be extra careful. We have to be extra compliant. We have to be alive to what the law is before we start our project. The next slide, please. Yeah. So I'll come to the finding and the judgment in a minute. But before that, I want to set out a couple of cases, challenging cases that we've done in court. A a couple of months ago, we were doing a railway stations project in Delhi. They're expanding the railway network in North India. And the government of a fresh railway station. Now the result of this was that first there was a PIL saying to make this railway station you have to cut some trees and therefore please stop the project. The NGT granted a stay. We ultimately got the stay vacated from the NGT. The PIL petitioner went to the Supreme Court. We got the stay vacated from there. All this took about a year and a half. In this year and a half that the entire project was stayed, there was some greenery which grew on the land. Now because of this greenery, it was declared a deep forest. Now because it was a deemed forest, it took another year and a half to get that clearance. So the entire project got delayed by about 3.5 years. And this is a railway station, mind you. This is the government of India trying to create something on its own land. So this is the government through the Ministry of Railways on one side and the government through the Ministry of Environment on the other side. And it doesn't know which hand should hold which ear. That's the sort of situation we were in. Ultimately, that project I think is going on. There are some pockets which are being left safe, but otherwise the project is going on. One more case we did was where the EC mandated that you must have X square kilometers of green belt around the project. This project was situated in a semi-urban area. So therefore those X square kilometers around the project did not exist. So the idea was, do I demolish houses to construct a green belt? Do I demolish existing industries to construct a green belt? Or am I not allowed to function today because I can't construct a green belt? This is still pending. But ultimately, perhaps what we are trying to achieve here is that you give us a relaxation in the green belt around this industry, and we will carry out something like compensatory afforestation in a different place. But all this to say that we need to have individual approaches to individual cases. And that is really what the government also has to appreciate. You can't come out with an EIA notification and say, this is the letter of the law, I am going to follow the letter of the law, to hell with the spirit of the law. That's not how this can work. Now, coming to the specific judgment that we're dealing with, the previous slide. In Van Shakti's case, just last week, Justice Oka, fantastic judge, did yeoman's service. He's just retired 2 days ago. But he delivered this judgment, very fond of environmental law, focused on that area, knew his subject, knew what he was talking about, had dealt with it extensively in the Bombay High Court as well. And therefore came from a space of expertise and experience, and it wasn't that it was bolt out of the blue for him also. So the first thing he says is that the concept of ex post facto clearances in India is alien to the scheme of environmental law. So you can have a prior EC or you can have no EC at all. There is no third area which is possible. If you are starting a project, please get an EC in advance. The second is, even a one-time measure for regularization, which is what the attempt of the government was in this case, that if there are hundreds or thousands of projects across the country which are running illegally without a prior EC, let's try to regularize them so that everybody is brought within the envelope of the law. There is no chance even of a one-time regularization being carried out. Now, the third one, and I've extracted this in full from the words of the judgment because this to me is very extraordinary, and I'll just read it out verbatim. If the project is under construction, the same has to be stopped and demolished. Even if operation has already commenced, the same has to be stopped and demolished. Therefore, construction work has to be stopped and demolished. This is what the Supreme Court says. Now, the result of this is that you have a real estate project which doesn't have a prior EC. You've got people living there, you've got home buyers, you've got investors, you've got people who've sunk their lifelong savings there. Because of an error at the end of a developer, their houses have to be demolished today. This is the effect of the judgment as I understand it. Unless something happens, and I will suggest some solutions presently in the course of my speech. You will have industries who've expanded their capacity. This could be just a pure expansion. This could be a debottlenecking expansion. This could be a change in product mix expansion. But the Supreme Court says it has to be demolished because you didn't get a prior EC. Now, these violations have not occurred in the last 2 or 3 or 4 years. These are legacy violations. These are brownfield violations. These are violations that existed maybe in the year 1999, 2000, 2005, when environmental law and compliance wasn't as big a thing as it is today. And therefore, we are in a stage of some difficulty, which is why I said that the judgment creates a legal vacuum, where there is a difference between what exists on the ground and what the law requires us to do today. The protection that the Supreme Court, however, grants is the last line here, where it says, EC is already granted, should not be disturbed. So if you are one of those lucky people who got through the door before the Supreme Court shut the door, very good, we are not catching you and bringing you back within jail. But otherwise you are through. So the next slide, please. So now the question is, how do we move forward from this space? Because there are some points in the judgment which, according to me, are grounds for going back to the Supreme Court. And this can be done either at an individual level, some industry can say that you made this judgment, it affects me in this manner, therefore please hear me today. Or it can be done at an industry-wide level where an institution like CREDAI or some other industry body goes to the Supreme Court and says, you've passed this judgment. This is the effect of this judgment. We are going to lose these 10,000 jobs. We are going to lose this much of constructed area. We are going to lose this much in the supply chain. We are going to lose these communities. Therefore, please help us today. We are not saying as a matter of law you are right or you are wrong. We are saying as a matter of reality, we are in some difficulty. Therefore, please intervene. Now, the next slide, please. So, points which perhaps can be raised, which all of us can keep in mind when we are discussing this at a later stage, either with our advisors or with counsel or whatever it is. The first is that there is a lack of nuance in the judgment. There is this concept of a rigid rejection of anything but an ex post facto EC. So if you don't have an ex post facto EC, you are out. If you don't have a prior EC, you are out. There is no question of an ex post facto EC. Now, you've got delays in granting EC. We've got cases where we've been trying to get an EC for 9 years, and the entire EC process has gone through. The EAC has recommended it, but the government, for reasons best known to it, hasn't passed formal orders in the end. So there are administrative hurdles, and to put it very, very mildly, there are extra administrative hurdles which all of us face. And then there are people who are operating, like I said, at the margins of the law, who are just there, and another perhaps a little bit of tweaking of the law, a little bit of tweaking of the fact situation would have brought them within the ambit of the law. The judgment treats everybody in the same way, which paints everybody in the same brush, which perhaps may require a relook at some stage. Then the judgment doesn't really consider whether a project is actually causing pollution on account of the violation. So say you are a real estate developer and you've made 19,000 square meters instead, and you were supposed to make 19,000, you've made 20,500. So you made an extra 1,500, which requires a prior EC. Now, is that extra 1,500 actually causing pollution? Or has the project proponent in this case taken adequate steps, such as installing an STP or whatever other environment mitigation measures are necessary to ensure that the extra 1,500 is not causing pollution? Either way, the court says that you are a violator and therefore everybody is in the same way. This sort of a thing will require some address. Then there is a lack of a transition framework. There were cases which we were pursuing under these circulars where the EAC had granted EC, but the government had not passed formal orders. There were cases which we were pursuing where the EACs were at final stages. Screening had been done, scoping had been done, public hearing had been done, final hearing before the EAC was necessary. And in all likelihood, it would have gone through with some recommendations, with some ideas, whatever it is. And now suddenly the clock is turned back 5 years, 7 years, 8 years. And this sort of a transition framework will require some help perhaps from the court. The next is that there is no consideration of economic consequences, which I've already touched on. You've got job losses, supply chains, disruptions, community impacts, demolition of construction, things like that. And lastly, which is according to me very, very important, is number 6. Environmental costs of demolition are not factored in. Which means, I have a project, I'm going to demolish it. I'm going to get a prior EC in another 2 years and I'm going to reconstruct the same thing in the same place in the same manner. How is this rational? How is this environmentally friendly? You will have a case where you have a Supertech in Noida or you have a Marudu flats in Kerala where they are otherwise permissible, but you will demolish them and suddenly you will reconstruct a similar building in the same place. So everybody loses. The environment loses, the developer loses, the home buyer loses, you incur extra costs, and of course it's a lot of legal hassle. Perhaps the lawyers make money, but that's okay. But all of these are grounds for seeking a relook or asking for overruling the judgment at a future date, which perhaps we can keep in mind. Now I come to what is the reaction at the end of the ministry? I had a word with a few people there, and a lot of them are present here and have spoken here today. And the sense that I get is that at the moment they are also rather unclear on how to proceed. Because the court not just shuts the door but really seals it shut in saying that you can't have an ex post facto clearance. So they are seeking legal advice from their lawyers, from the Solicitor General and the Additional Solicitor Generals and so on. And that will perhaps lead somewhere. And in all likelihood, they will end up filing a review petition in the Supreme Court. I'm told that a couple of individual developers who are before the Supreme Court are also going in a review petition before the Supreme Court. I would urge that industry bodies also go to the Supreme Court, because if you hear a multiplicity of voices, perhaps that weighs with the Supreme Court in some manner. And what is also happening is that because the learned judge has now demitted office, the matter will go before a different bench, and therefore perhaps a different view is possible by somebody else. One would have to wait and watch. So one also has to be alive of the future policy direction that we are going forward in. Because the court says what it says, the government will now have to be necessarily more proactive when it comes to dealing with environmental clearance cases. Now, how does it do that? At the central level, laws are made, rules are made, guidelines are issued. At the state level is where the actual implementation happens, the actual oversight happens, the engineers visit the site and see what is happening, they see the data that you've presented and so on. So this will lead to an additional compliance burden at the end of the state pollution control boards. This will lead to an additional compliance burden at the end of the state environmental appraisal committees and the SEACs and so on. And therefore, perhaps a greater budgetary allocation will be necessary at this end, more hiring will be necessary at this end, and greater proactive approaches from the project proponents will be required at this end, where you go to the government first, the government ramps up its capacity to really help you out with your concerns, and then there is a give and take, and then we start our project. That perhaps is a way forward, which will require, again, the project proponents to really interact with the government and work in this direction. Can we come to the next slide, please? Yeah. So now I come to what is the risk management possible now that this judgment has come, now that we are in this position, and how do we move forward from here? So project proponents who are not fully compliant with the law will have to be proactive. This is not the time where you wait, you sit back and you expect something to happen on its own. It may not work like that. The next slide, please. So one, wherever it is possible, please cease and desist from unauthorized activities. So if you've already carried out an enhancement in your capacity in your plant, just roll it back to the existing capacity. If you've carried out a real estate development which is slightly over the margin and it is possible to scale it down for a little while, try to make it happen. If you're in industry where construction has just commenced but you've not really reached an advanced stage, just stop for the minute. Let there be some relaxation in the flux. Let things settle, and then we will know where to proceed. Next is anticipate legal action against you. The way this has gone, the government will come back and initiate legal action against everybody. There will be remedial plans which the government will come out with. I'm quite sure of it. It's quite impossible that it doesn't. But be prepared for legal action against you. Start planning from today. Start taking remedial action from today. Start anticipating what sort of issues can arise in the future, and so that you can plan for it and you're not cut in a soup later when the problem exists. The third is plan for financial penalties. The government will invoke the polluter pays principle. The government will say, I will charge you 10% of your cost, I will charge you 15% of your cost, and so on, and request you to spend that money for environmental remediation. So create an escrow account, create accounting standards where you are keeping some money aside, so that once that penalty is imposed, you are suddenly not caught in a financial crunch and you are unable to pay, or you are unable to get into the window where a relaxation is granted because you don't have the immediate financial capacity or you don't have the liquidity or something. So plan for this in advance. The next slide, please. Next is get legal advice, get strategic advice from the beginning. This is going back to my first point, that we have to be proactive about this. We can't be reactionary at this stage. Therefore, if you are aware in the beginning of what is going to happen, you are aware, you have some idea on what the policy direction is going to be, you are continuously interacting with the government and therefore you have an idea on what is happening in their heads, you will be in a position to be ready for that window whenever it comes. And that really is going to be your solution. If you don't do that, the government will come out with some criteria, and you will find for some technical reason you are not within that criteria. And because you are not within that criteria, you miss the bus, while others who have been more proactive will get into the bus. And lastly, in specific cases, approach the courts. We are already doing this in 2 or 3 cases, where, like I mentioned, people who have gone through the process, who have obtained EACs, recommendations from the EAC, where formal orders are left, where you are at the last stage of the marathon. You've done everything, but you're at the last stage of the marathon. In those cases, perhaps one can directly go to the court and say, see, I was here. I have done everything right. I have helped out, I've saved the environment, I've acted in compliance with the law. Because now you have come out of a bolt from the blue for me. Therefore, now don't let me demolish my whole industry. Don't let me lose 500 jobs which I've created. Help me out. And my view is that in most cases, the courts will find a way. The courts will find a way. The next slide, please. So, parting thoughts. How do we proceed from here? And what is to be done going forward? Next slide, please. Yeah. New ventures. If you are creating something new, where you are not a violator today, it's a greenfield project. It's a brownfield project which doesn't have a prior EC. Ensure a prior EC. You will find that the cost, the time, the money that this legal rigmarole takes you is more than what it would take you if you just got a prior EC properly. And you've got fantastic consultants like Mr. Moses who will help you out proactively. So make it happen. Get a prior EC, be preemptive about these things. The second is, information is power. Stay up to date with what is happening in terms of the EIA notification, what is happening in the circulars and the OMs being issued by the government. Be proactive instead of reactive about this. Therefore, have somebody within your team who is keeping an eye on what the government is doing, how the courts are reacting, what is the thought process within government from time to time, so that you are placed like a crouching tiger to jump when the moment arises. The third is demonstrate engagement. As a entity who is acting within the confines of the law, or at least wishes to act within the confines of the law, interact with the government, interact at the state level, interact at the central level. The MOEF has 19 regional offices across the country. Interact with them, show that you are a part of the decision-making process with them, show that you are an interested stakeholder, so that when ultimately they decide, they call upon you. And that is the last point. Give feedback about the struggles that you are facing. If you give them the feedback about the struggles that you are facing, they will keep that in mind when they are framing the next policy. And this sort of constant engagement is what will take it forward. Now, this can be done at an individual level, at a industry-wide level, at perhaps a group level, or a local level, or a regional level. I mean, there are ways to make this happen. But the idea is that this needs to be done at this stage. Because like I said, they don't know the way forward at the moment either. They are also seeking legal advice. They have also gone back to the drawing board to recalibrate how to move forward. And therefore, this is the right moment to interact, to engage, to make things happen. Now, this is broadly what I had to say. I would just conclude by saying that Mr. Ali in the morning had mentioned some 2 or 3 challenges that they face. One is that old constructions which are taken up by new developers, the FIR changes, therefore you want to add a floor. You realize they didn't take EAC and they didn't go to the EAC to obtain an EC, and now you are not able to construct the project. There has been a change in scope of the project. Now these are all practical realities. It will happen in business. If something is shut for 10 years and the FAR increases, I do want to construct a longer building, a taller building, a building with more floors, and so on. Why should I not? So, according to me, the EIA notification creates a window for this. And also, wherever it is not possible, the courts will step in. The courts will step in for the reason that land is a scarce commodity within cities, especially. So if you have a plot of land on which you can build 15 floors of houses today, and in the past you could only build 10 floors of houses, no rational person will say you still build 10 floors of houses. If you build 15, it's cheaper, it's more cost effective, it's better for the people, it's better for the country, because you are unlocking more value within the same scarce area. And therefore, there are ways out, and of course these will be dealt with on very individualistic levels, but we'll get to it. Lastly, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to addressing you. I look forward to this. Sorry, sir?
Your company profiles.
I'll share that with you, sir. I'll share that with you.
I think that's a very wonderful, summary. I think our lawyer has done a very simple, one-shot, whole thing has been captured. And I use this opportunity to thank him. And he is a good, first time I'm seeing him. And we guys are working some 3 or 4 major court cases and works together. And he's a very young man, remarkably young man. That's what is fascinating. And his knowledge base is deep and is very user friendly. As an organization, we have been working with him maybe last 1 year, right? Yeah. And he happened, Tamil Nadu is not new to him. Tamil Nadu Pollution Control Board uses his service. And he's a man of good integrity and capability. And we had organized this seminar with a clear legal footnote so that it will be easy for the next time. What he said is absolutely correct. At least for the next project, let us be very clear. And where there are issues, how are we going to circumvent? Is there any technical solutions, or is there going to be a techno-legal solutions, or whatever aspect, some roadmap has to be created. Now, with this in mind, we had organized in the afternoon sessions along with our team and our dear lawyer in our offices. And I think some 20 people have come forward, yeah. I think some 20 people have registered there. And if some more would like to, just on academic basis or on your problems or whatever it could be, I humbly request you to give the pop-in. I think Saubhagya and other guys are there to register you, and we can have a session along with the lawyer and our team in HEC's office in Guindy. This is just a small input so that all of us are facilitated and benefited. And the last slide, because of time running short, I think Rajkumar, I'll take over, yeah? Please put the slide. Yeah, Abhi Bhai Jai, sir. Really a wonderful guy, and we look forward, sir. And as he said, the lawyer always gets paid. I think you guys get paid before the job itself, right? I wish some of my guys in my company used to say, one Ravi, one of my top manager, Mr. Moses, you should have become a lawyer. You are just an apt guy for lawyer. So lawyer and we are not apart. And I'm trying to give, I'll put you to my grandson today, and he wants to be a Supreme Court lawyer. And you be a role model. I think I appreciate, and really, sir, he has come taking a late flight yesterday, and he's been really struggling. And we have not given him even 4 days chances. We were running, because this guy has to come, we have to organize. Thanks to Mr. Ali, CREDAI stepped in and helped us, and we could organize this. And at the end of the show, I feel we are very proud. We are happy that we have done something good for the industry and the construction business. Now, HECS, which we represent. Now, how we guys can take a roadmap? I think most of you are our clients, but however, as he mentioned some case studies, they were also where we are involved along with Siddhant. And these were all very major projects, and I don't want to give the names because of confidentiality. And in fact, he went all the way to get Supreme Court to give verdicts, and in a remarkably short time. I think that's an absolutely good thing. So we wish to support the industries in Tamil Nadu and all the others online also to do the level best to them for their problems. First one, what we guys can do, HECS can be of use to you, is a detailed gap assessment and compliance audit could be done. As he said, somebody may have just crossed the threshold or below the threshold or above the threshold, where we can make a technical audit and we can try to resolve the matters on a technical simple mode. And the second is regulatory support and representation with regulatory body to represent technical clarification roadmaps. If you have to take up with the concerned government department, we could be of use to you in the most technical aspects such that it is resolved in a very comfortable way. Preparation of corrective action plan. Yeah, this is the very important aspect. Corrective action plan has to be made. Supposing something has happened and how we guys are going to come out of it. And already a lot of companies, we are working along with in the manufacturing and also in the developmental sector, where easy corrective measures could be done such that to fine tune to go back to the stage safe. And environmental baseline studies, impact assessment, of course, that is our key. And environmental clearance support, at least for your new projects. You know, the government has been, the portals are so good nowadays, and simple name change, environmental amendments. These are all very simplified in our system today. I should also just make a small comment here. One of our directors and we had gone to Portugal a couple of weeks back. And when we studied the environmental law of that country, I felt very proud. We are way ahead. India is way ahead in the laws, in the environmental law. Either Europe doesn't have, and sometimes I've discussed with the Germans, our laws are far better than the German. And a German professor told me a couple of months back, he had come to our office, he said, we were selling technology to you guys. Now it is high time we start taking back technology from India to Germany. And I'm very proud to say that, and it's a great thing. And I really, because I've been working right from the late 80s or even mid 80s with the ministry and Pollution Control Board and the industries in my almost 40 years plus experience. I have worked with a lot of ministry, when Subbarao is here. Where is Professor Subbarao, sir? Yeah, please stand up, sir. He's one of the great EAC, he was a member secretary in pollution in EAC in Karnataka, in Delhi. How these people have worked and framed the laws, and we are ahead of Europe, sir, as I'm very proud to say. And in spite of our India being a small country in area, we could only sustain with good environmental laws and also the laws to be implemented. And next is documentation and legal support coordination, our legal support. Actually Siddhanji and we are trying to form a small legal support cell. We are, he and his, check other company's names, Kohli and Chandra Associates, we are pairing up, we are forming a consortium to make it simple for you guys. You don't have to take the pain of going to Delhi or talking to him, and in a very simple structured way, at least 4 or 5 people you have done together, right? Already 4 or 5 major, even a couple of MNCs we have done already, and we look forward for that support. And the next is community and stakeholder engagement strategy. Generally we are afraid of public hearing and taking to the public. In whatever little training I had also worked in DuPont, like our Dr. Murli. Whenever we do a project, and at least in the US, you have to talk to the local community in a very friendly way. It is a community which comes to the help. We always talk of a very giant, very big chemical company in Tuticorin, which has got lovely, contacts with the local community. That's why they are very successful. It's very important, and this engagement we could be of use. And training and capacity building. This is an ongoing thing. All industries need training, and we impart training to a lot of key pharma companies. We have been giving training, petrochemical companies, and we could be useful in that. And periodic monitoring and reporting, which our labs in Mangaluru and Chennai are known for that, and we do it. And ethical and transparent advisory. We believe in ethical and transparent advisories, and we look forward for good working with you guys. And I think I'll make it a vote of thanks and close it. We are running short of time. Yeah. I thank one and all of you who have come here, and we had a good session. And I think it's a very rare session like this, and probably the first of its kind. Somebody told me in the ministry, this is the first type of seminar being conducted in our country. And we are very proud, and let us go ahead, and we look forward to support it in the days to come. Thank you once again, and it's just a general question. If anybody is having any doubt, please, because we are getting short for lunchtime, and we also have to attend the SCAC meeting, we would like to wind up. If any questions are there, please meet our team and find out. And people who want to have further discussion, I think a slot has been prepared by Saubhagya. You can please join us up in our office. Thank you once again. Thank you. National Anthem. Wait.
Yeah. Oh,
Excuse me, one minute, please.
Yeah. before going to lunch, we will have
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Thank you all. Let us disperse for lunch.